Hello everyone, today we are starting the story of a young man who was granted a second chance. Going back in time to 10 days, the world plunged into the darkness of an apocalypse. In this grim reality, the entire world has become a brutal arena for evolution. It's humanity's greatest opportunity and trial, as well as a playground for gods and demons alike. With a direct injection of the zombie virus, he awakens an SSS-level talent, the Virus King. Now, he embarks on an extraordinary path of evolution, wielding control over the virus itself. Join us as we go deeper into the tale. Please leave a like as today's like goal is 1,500 likes. Hit the subscribe button for more videos. So let's start the story without any delay. The tale begins as the goddess of darkness, Heloise, flies over the White Demon Castle. Her voice rings out furiously as she addresses the young man below as the White Demon Saint Chen Bai. She berates him for his failure in the mission, declaring that his incompetence has put her in a foul mood. With venom in her words, she commands him to go to hell. Tensing up, Chen implores Lady Goddess Heloise to wait, seeking another chance based on his past accomplishments. However, Heloise swiftly rebuffs him, asserting that lowly humans have no right to request opportunities. She declares that his white magic castle will be obliterated along with the darkness. Suddenly, black waves rise at the White Demon Castle, enveloping Chen from all sides and dragging him downward into the river of darkness. As he's pulled by the waves, he wonders how, despite nearly completing 100 tasks for the Lady Goddess, one failure means he's going to be wiped out simply because he's a lowly human. In a moment of defiance, he refuses to accept his fate and starts laughing hysterically. Just before being fully consumed by the darkness of the water, he defiantly shows his middle finger to Lady Goddess Heloise and shouts that he will fuck her no matter what. Within the darkness of the water, Chen is surrounded by endless blackness, sinking deeper into it. Suddenly, his hourglass locket activates and miraculously, Chen wakes up in his bed, still furiously shouting at Lady Goddess Heloise. Upon seeing his surroundings, Chen is shocked and begins to wonder how he isn't dead yet and where he is. After analyzing the room carefully, he realizes that it's his dorm room from his college days. He starts to wonder how he ended up there and why he wasn't killed by Lady Goddess Heloise. The decades of turmoil felt so real to him that he begins to question if it could have been a dream. Suddenly, his focus shifts to his hourglass locket and he notices something strange. He remembers that the hourglass was the item he obtained 20 years after the arrival of the universal will when the trial began. He also remarks that the hourglass is the most unique item he had ever seen. It couldn't display his attributes and couldn't be destroyed, so he always kept it with him. He carefully looks at the hourglass and wonders. He remembers that the sand was at the bottom and it wouldn't flow even when turned upside down, but now, to his surprise, it was at the top. So he interprets that time as reversed. Curiously, he checks the time and discovers that it's the day of June 5th, 2032, just 10 days before the arrival of the universal will and the start of the apocalypse. Chen reflects that in 10 days on June 15th, the universal will would officially arrive and begin the trail. During this time, more than 90% of humanity will perish and the deceased will transform into various zombies and monsters. All the conventional weapons will fail and the whole world will witness its demise in just one night. However, along with the dangers of the universal trial come opportunities. Those who survive will awaken innate abilities within themselves. Many magical equipment and items from various realms will also descend to Earth along with the universal will. These treasures garner the interest of gods who govern the rules of the universe, and since these gods couldn't directly intervene in the trial, they entice humans under the guise of protection, seeking to reap benefits from it. Ken reflects that in his previous life he wasn't strong enough, and after much struggle, he eventually joined under Lady Goddess Heloise's command. He desperately completed the tasks she assigned, striving to elevate his status. However, he never anticipated being erased simply due to one failed mission. As he glances at his mobile phone, breaking news flashes across the screen. The first headline sparks chatter about a new disease reminiscent of rabies or cinematic zombies. The second headline reports on patients at Jiangxing Hospital exhibiting erratic behavior, resorting to biting others. Lastly, a third headline describes an unbelievable event. A body undergoing forensic dissection suddenly awakens. Rising from his seat, he absorbs the tumultuous updates and resolves to forge his own strength, determined not to rely on others. He vows to achieve such strength that even the demon goddess Heloise will kneel before him and sets out towards an uncertain destination. Along the way, Chen recalls that 10 years after the trial began, someone claimed to have discovered the only way to upgrade innate abilities. This person revealed that 10 days before the trial started, innate abilities actually became effective, and if one discovered and utilized their abilities during this period, it could upgrade them. Arriving at the hospital, Chen masks up and strides in with a clear strategy. Reflecting on his past life, he recalls his E-ranked virus resistance innate ability. He now believes that to upgrade his ability, he must use the virus to trigger and strengthen it in advance. Inside, he overhears a doctor and nurse discussing the unprecedented disease. The doctor marvels at the unfamiliar symptoms, while the nurse likens the patient to a scene from a movie. Approaching the patient's room, Chen observes the restrained figure and confirms its transformation into a zombie. Armed with a syringe, he moves to draw its blood, explaining to the zombie that its cooperation is vital for his training. With a sufficient sample secured, Chen anticipates triggering his innate ability. Following that, he checks the dormitory to see if anyone is around and realizes it's empty. He deduces that everyone is gone as they had stayed up all night. Preparing to inject the zombie's blood into himself, he hesitates briefly, knowing that if the theory is wrong, he might die. Yet brushing aside the consequences, he plunges the needle into his arm without hesitation. Reflecting on his struggles before the reset, enduring decades of weakness until finally making progress, he fears squandering opportunities if he remains feeble, despite knowing the future. Death seems preferable to restarting and remaining weak. As the blood courses through his veins, he collapses suddenly. Upon awakening, he finds himself back in the White Demon Castle, confronted by Heloise urging him to relinquish resistance and embrace the darkness. This time, however, Chen rises defiantly, vehemently declaring his intent to conquer Heloise. He then asks himself how he could fall here. Back at the hospital, Chen regains consciousness, walking strangely. Some people enter the room and are stunned to see Chen, his nerves seemingly protruding from every end, with blood coming out from his eyes and mouth. Recognizing Chen Bai, one of them anxiously queries him about the situation. Chen, momentarily stunned by the boy's presence, joyfully asks if he's back. With a nod, the boy agrees. Chen then excuses himself to wash his face, which the boy acknowledges with a simple okay. In the washroom, he gazes at his reflection, a smile spreading across his face as the theory proves true. The zombie virus didn't claim his life, and his innate abilities successfully upgraded. Wondering about the level of his newfound power, he is startled to hear a voice congratulating him on being chosen as a pioneer and receiving the title of Pioneer and Awakening in advance. Hearing this, he realizes it's the voice of the universal will, and he feels happy that he has successfully awakened. He commands the interface to display the title information, and a screen materializes before him, detailing the privileges of being a pioneer. It states that individuals who could discover, utilize, and train their abilities before the trial began were eligible for this title. Notably, it enhances their attributes by 5% and boosts experience gained by 10%. Moreover, pioneers have the advantage of awakening the attribute panel in advance. Reading this, Chen feels delighted about the percentage boost, realizing it's a perfect title for him. Then he commands to open the panel of the innate ability, where his ability level shows as SSS, indicating he possesses a great amount of power within himself. It's revealed that the Virus Monarch reigns supreme as the mightiest skill in the virus element, capable of absorbing, utilizing, manipulating, transforming, and creating viruses. Chen reflects on his current abilities, noting that he can only absorb viruses with a limited range. Realizing the need for a significant virus supply to enhance his power, he heads back to the hospital. However, his return is met with chaos as people rush towards him, some pleading for help while others warn of a zombie outbreak signaling the end of the world. Recalling crucial information from his past life about peculiar incidents in Jiangxing before the trial, Chen recognizes the sealed hospital as the source. Ignoring bystanders' inquiries, he charges towards the zombie-infested area. As he absorbs the virus, his Virus Monarch talent skill begins accumulating points which could be used to strengthen abilities. After absorbing one zombie, he relentlessly pursues every other undead, boldly declaring that no zombie can evade him. Meanwhile, on the 4th floor of the hospital building, zombies relentlessly pound on the restroom door where Liu Feng, the hospital director, and nurse Sui Xin are trapped. Liu Feng grimly admits to Sui Xin that escape seems impossible. The door won't hold much longer, and they are doomed. He then turns to Sui Xin, his eyes filled with lust as he laughs. Sui Xin, crying and wondering what to do, suddenly notices Liu Feng's strange behavior and asks what's wrong with him. With a sinister grin, Liu Feng approaches her, saying he has pursued her for so long, but she never agreed. Now that they are about to die, he suggests she let him enjoy himself before they die. Shocked by his behavior, Sui Xin questions his sanity. Ignoring her, Liu Feng becomes increasingly desperate as the zombies breach the door. Panicked, he seizes Sui Xin, using her as a shield and pushing her towards the zombies to save himself. As he attempts to flee, he finds himself cornered at a window. With no other escape, he tries to jump but becomes stuck, vulnerable to the approaching zombies. 7 minutes later, the ground is strewn with the bodies of the bitten victims. Chen arrives at the scene and spots a medical staff girl seemingly unharmed. Recognizing the recent bite marks, he realizes there may still be time before she transforms. With the military preparing to seal the area, Chen determines he needs someone familiar with the hospital layout to navigate. Resolute, he decides to extract all the virus from her to halt the transformation. In a swift motion, he drains all the virus from her, saving her from turning into a zombie. Moments later, she regains consciousness, confirming Chen's success. Suixin expresses her gratitude to Chen for saving her. He remarks that it seems she hasn't completely lost consciousness. Suixin confirms with a yes, indicating her awareness of what had transpired. Chen then informs Suixin that he requires her assistance with something urgent. Agreeing to help, Suixin requests a change of clothes first. Chen, sensing the urgency, grabs Suixin's hand and begins to pull her, insisting there is no time for that. He implores her to lead him to the area in the hospital with the highest concentration of viruses. Suixin complies and then guides him to the laboratory, where most viruses are stored and tested. Chen collects some viruses, assuring her it should suffice. He combines them in a beaker, surprising and alarming Suixin. The concoction includes hepatitis, influenza, herpes, and HIV viruses, each contributing varying virus points based on potency. After absorbing all the viruses, Chen's next goal is to strengthen the zombie virus with them. He reviews his options on the point screen: Ancestor virus, Decay virus, T-virus, Coxy virus, and Dark Light virus. After careful consideration, he selects the Dark Light virus for upgrading, explaining its focus on devouring and evolving. Suddenly, Suixin alerts him to approaching zombies at the laboratory door. Chen instructs her to stay put and confronts the zombie, swiftly absorbing its virus. Observing Chen's actions, Suixin becomes perplexed. As he absorbs the virus, Chen notices the process is quicker than before, effortlessly lifting the 150 ulbs zombie. Seizing the opportunity, he tests his new ability on the zombie. With determination, he unleashes the Dark Light virus ability, witnessing black waves resembling branches devouring the zombie entirely within seconds, assimilating it into himself. Chen feels invigorated, noting the rapid absorption speed and even experiencing some stamina recovery. Meanwhile, Suixin trembles in fear at the sight of him. Nervously, she asks him what he has just done. Chen smiles casually and inquires what is troubling her. Suixin sighs with relief and expresses gratitude, acknowledging his role in saving her. Trusting him not to harm her, she offers her help in keeping his secrets. Chen extends his hand to assist her in standing up and introduces himself as Chen Bai. Suixin reciprocates the introduction. Suddenly, Chen hears sounds indicating the arrival of military personnel. Realizing this, he shares with Suixin that it appears the military and police have reached the hospital. They must have sealed off the area and are clearing out the zombies. He suggests they leave as well. Holding her hand, he leads her to the rooftop, explaining they can't risk being isolated and questioned. Suddenly, a strange creature materializes before them, startling Chen. As it attacks, Chen realizes it's not the right time for a confrontation. Stunned, Suixin hesitates, unsure of what to do, while the creature stands poised for a confrontation. In an instant, it attacks Chen and blood begins to pour from his hand. Nevertheless, Chen continues to smile, intrigued by the sight of the mutant before him, pondering what sort of evolution the Dark Light virus would undergo by assimilating the mutant. As the mutant advances to attack Chen, he leaps to dodge the strike and counters with a swift kick aimed at its head. However, the mutant proves to be highly agile. Before Chen can regain his footing, it lashes out with a slashing attack towards him. Miraculously, Chen manages to evade the attack, drawing his weapon imbued with the power of the zombies. He realizes the mutant matches his prowess. Nevertheless, he unleashes a powerful punch at the mutant, giving it his all. However, the punch only inflicts minor damage on the mutant. Realizing the mutants are on par with his own abilities, Chen launches another attack without hesitation. However, he quickly discerns that his attacks won't inflict significant damage on the mutant, realizing defeating it will require considerable effort. As the mutant rises from the damage, Chen takes a moment to heal himself. To his surprise, Suixin breaks the emergency box glass with her elbow, retrieving an axe and tossing it towards him as the mutant advances. Chen deftly catches the axe, grateful for her intervention as he prepares to face the mutant. Initiating his assault, he declares it's their brawl now, wielding the axe with precision. Dodging the mutant's attacks, he delivers a series of blows, eventually causing it to halt and clutch its wounded leg. In a moment of respite, Chen relaxes and remarks with a smile that it's surprising the mutant still holds on in such circumstances. He then positions his leg on the mutant's head, preparing to deliver the decisive blow by severing its head. Suddenly, the mutant retaliates with full force, launching a powerful counterattack against Chen, who collides with the wall, blood expelling from his mouth, the axe slipping from his grasp. Witnessing this, Suixin grows frightened and tense, her concern mounting for Chen. However, Chen remains unfazed, wearing a smile even in the face of adversity. He contemplates that when one is on the brink of death, there is no choice but to embrace it. Addressing the mutant, Chen questions if it desires to tear him apart. Confusion flickers in the mutant's eyes as dark waves emerge from Chen's stomach, ensnaring the mutant. Chen unleashes his evolution-devouring power, causing the mutant to howl in agony. Observing its suffering, Chen remarks on its newfound fear, though it's too late. Gradually, Chen consumes the mutant entirely, leaving nothing behind. Shocked yet impressed, Suixin praises Chen Bai for his remarkable feat. As the devouring process concludes, it becomes evident that Chen has absorbed a second-stage clawed zombie. The transformation of the blacklight virus continues, and upon completion, Chen acquires the bone claw ability characteristic of the clawed zombie. To his surprise, Chen's hands now resemble deadly claws, filling him with happiness as he realizes choosing the blacklight virus was the best decision he ever made. Shortly after, the military arrives, demanding confirmation of Chen and Suixin's survival. Chen's frustration is evident, but he swiftly gathers Suixin into his arms, urging her to hold on tightly. Ignoring the military's warnings, he dashes into action as gunfire erupts. Suixin directs him towards a safe passage leading to the rooftop. Despite being struck by bullets, Chen remains focused, silently enduring as they push forward. Finally, they reach the rooftop, where Chen kicks open the door with a powerful blow. Catching his breath, Chen turns to Suixin and asks about her home. Suixin quickly provides her address: Rongfeng Neighborhood, North 4th Road, Nanbei Street. Chen nods in acknowledgement, then swiftly sprints and leaps off the rooftop. Suixin, stunned and fearful, instinctively wraps her arms around Chen Bai as they plummet. Minutes later, they arrive at Suixin's house. Upon entering her room, Suixin points out the bathroom and offers to assist Chen in cleaning his wounds. Chen reassures her, explaining that the bullets had not lodged inside and his injuries had already healed. He encourages her not to worry, indicating that he is fine. Suixin insists, her concern overriding any sense of embarrassment. Chen acquiesces with a nod and removes his shirt as she requests. As she examines his wounds, Suixin feels a bit flustered. She points out the remaining marks and traces of wounds on his hand, urging him to take a closer look. Glancing at his chest and stomach, Suixin suggests Chen inspect those areas as well, claiming they haven't healed properly. In truth, she finds herself drawn to him, particularly mesmerized by his defined six-pack physique. In a lighthearted tone, Chen teases Suixin, jokingly asking if he would immediately recover if he ate her and playfully questioning if she's willing to sacrifice herself for him. Feeling flustered by his banter, Suixin awkwardly responds that he wouldn't eat her, suggesting he would have done so already if he intended to. To her surprise, Chen draws close and whispers in her ear, revealing that her assumption was incorrect. He confesses that he hadn't eaten her earlier because the circumstances hadn't been suitable. Taken aback by his revelation, Suixin finds herself speechless. Suddenly, Chen removes the torn cloth from her body, indicating that now the environment is conducive to his earlier suggestion. He once more asks if Suixin would be willing to sacrifice herself to help him recover. Though Suixin doesn't explicitly say yes, she diverts the topic, suggesting they clean up instead. Interpreting her response as an indirect yes, Chen understands her reluctance due to embarrassment. With a nod of acknowledgement, he leans in and initiates a kiss, leading them to become intimate with each other. However, amidst their intimacy, Chen's phone begins to ring incessantly, bombarded with message notifications. Ken's friends Zhao and Songji message him, expressing concern for his well-being. Song asks if he's alright, having heard from another friend that he visited Jiangxing Hospital. Meanwhile, Zhao shares that the school's #1 beauty Songji had been asking about him, sparking curiosity about his whereabouts. Later, Chen wanders through the market, reflecting on the strange occurrences in Jiangxing before the trial. The sealed hospital, suburban bombing, and monstrous slaughter. He admits his limited knowledge of these events and wonders why they're rarely discussed. Pondering these mysteries, he develops a headache and becomes tense. Chen then receives a call from Suixin, who informs him that 2 people came looking for him, claiming Song Zijiang wants to see him. Chen acts nonchalant and Suixin expresses distrust, considering Zijiang's status as the queen of Jiangxing. Tense, she asks what to do. Chen assures her they're not lying and asks her to have them wait outside, to which Suixin agrees. Chen opens the chat with Songji, finding numerous messages inquiring about his health and whereabouts. He recalls that Zijiang is the mother of a classmate entangled with him, speculating that Songji went to see her mother, and if Zijiang could find her way to Suixin's place, she must know something. Chen decides it's necessary to meet Zijiang. Later, he arrives at the suburban freezer warehouse, where Zijiang's guards escort him to her. Reflecting on Zijiang's journey from rags to riches, becoming the wealthiest person in Jiangxing and excelling in both legitimate and illegitimate ventures, Chen recalls her rise to power as the Jiangxing queen. In his past life, he admired her, but now he laughs knowing things are different. If he can recruit her to his side, he could accomplish much more before the trial. They halt at the suburban warehouse corridor where Zikyung stands with her secretary, Ms. Lang. When Chen arrives, her bodyguard informs her of his presence. Zixiong apologizes for summoning him, explaining her inability to leave. Chen inquires about the specific matter she wishes to discuss. Surprisingly, Zixiong steps closer to him and adjusts his attire, explaining that she called him because Songji had returned home, expressing concern about his absence at Jiangcheng First Hospital and asking for help. She also admits curiosity about the man who could make Songji so nervous. Chen, preferring directness, asks Zixiong about her real purpose. She smiles, appreciating his straightforwardness, and suggests he become her daughter's husband, citing his apparent fondness for her. Ken replies that he doesn't believe there's a reason for Zixiong to want him. Zixiong mentions his heroic performance at the hospital and asks if anyone would develop feelings. Stunned, Chen admits to destroying the hospital's surveillance and power supply, questioning how she knew and found him so quickly. Zixiong urges him not to underestimate her, explaining her men could trace him at least from the lobby to the monitoring room. She asserts she has someone inside the hospital and shows Chen her chat with a girl named Lulei, who sent a video of him running away with Sui Xin. Zixiong mentions finding a colleague of Sui Xin named Liu Feng among the survivors brought up by the troops, who seemed familiar to her. Surprised at the mention of Liu's name, Chen is taken aback. Chen recalls the night before at Sui Xin's house when she mentioned Liu Feng. He asks if Liu was the one who not only tried to molest her, but also pushed her towards the zombies. Sui Xin confirms, recounting Liu's attempt to escape by jumping out of the window but getting grabbed by zombies, ultimately meeting his demise. Chen is surprised, realizing Liu Feng was the person hanging on the window, thinking he was already dead. Sui Xin expresses her hatred towards Liu Feng, wishing he were already dead. Back at the suburban freezer warehouse corridor, Chen asks Zixiong if she will disclose the location of the isolated survivors. Zixiong responds, offering the information if he becomes her man. Chen asserts that she underestimates him. Zixiong admits she can't match his skills with just information, but still has leverage. Chen interjects, rejecting her proposal and implying she knows too little about him. He suggests that if she knew more, she would realize he couldn't be her man, but rather she should be his woman. With these words, he draws out his claws, surprising Zixiong and prompting her secretary, Ms. Lang, to step forward protectively. Zixiong questions if this is a mutation of the zombie virus, but Chen denies it, proposing that she becomes his woman in exchange for learning more. Zixiong smiles, indicating that merely showing his claws won't win her over. She mentions his relationship with Sui Xin, questioning why he's interested in her. Chen approaches Zixiong closely, holding her face and suggesting that everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. He hints that there's much more she could do for him than Sui Xin in these days before the apocalypse. Hearing Chen's mention of the apocalypse, Zixiong curiously inquires further. Chen counters, stating that zombies aren't even worthy of being called a warm-up. This prompts Zixiong to realize that Chen possesses substantial knowledge. Chen confirms her suspicion, asserting that his knowledge surpasses her imagination. Recognizing their shared disposition against submission, Zixiong proposes cooperation, offering her help in exchange for his information. The Jigachad responds affirmatively, recognizing that conquering the Queen of Jiangcheng is indeed not an easy task. Zixiong agrees, revealing her anticipation of encountering a man capable of conquering her. She encourages Chen to persist in his efforts, genuinely impressed by his boldness. Suddenly, they hear gunshots from outside. Chen's expression shifts to alarm as he questions what's happening. Tensely, Zixiong reveals that Commander Huang dispatched Captain Zhao to negotiate with her the previous night. They sought the use of refrigerated warehouses to store live zombies and survivors from isolated capitals, likely the source of the gunfire. However, she questions how things went awry given the few zombies in the cold storage barely mobile. Chen ponders the swift discovery of the zombies, unexpected due to their sluggishness and low temperatures. Unaware of the increased mutation risk in extreme conditions, he refocuses on the present. They're in a suburban cold storage where mutated zombies lurk. It dawns on him that this site could be the suburban bombing location. Determined, he suggests further investigation, excited about the mutation's nature. Meanwhile, commandos hurl grenades into the meat monster's mouth, causing explosions. Fog fills the area as they await the outcome, surprised to see the monster emerge unharmed. Captain Zhao issues an order, realizing their weapons are futile against the creature. Everyone forms groups and spreads out to lure the monster separately, instructed to hold out until reinforcements arrive. To Zhao's surprise, Zixiong arrives urgently, requesting the commandos to cease fire and retreat. Tensely, he questions her intentions. Zixiong explains their weapons can't harm the creature, urging Zhao not to send the commandos to their deaths. She instructs him to protect and evacuate the cold storage employees and survivors. Zhao argues it's impossible to escape without restraining the monster. Meanwhile, Lu Lei faces imminent attack. Zixiang insists Zhao follow her instructions and not worry about the monster. Chen intervenes, shielding Lu Lei and grappling with the monster, revealing its overwhelming size. The meat monster lunges at Chen, but he dodges swiftly and counterattacks with his claws, striking its arm. They face off again as the monster attempts to hit Chen, but he evades, causing it to hit the walls instead. Witnessing this, Zhao questions Zixiang tensely, asking if she's raising a monster. Zixiang laughs, revealing Chen as her partner. Meanwhile, due to the broken wall, beef carcasses spill out and Chen climbs on top. He pleads with the monster not to eat the beef, skillfully devouring himself. As he consumes the beef, he gains strength and endurance, remarking on its premium quality. Chen notices the tired monster trying to replenish its energy. Seizing the opportunity, he attacks, knowing it's its turn to perish. Despite seeing Chen's impending attack, the tired monster is unable to react and gets struck by his blows. Zhao and Zixiang watch in astonishment as Chen relentlessly attacks the monster with his claws, rendering it powerless. With the monster unable to retaliate, Chen activates his devouring skill, ensnaring it with black wave branches. Witnessing this, Zhao is shocked, voicing disbelief at Chen's abilities. Meanwhile, Chen continues to devour the monster slowly. Zhao attempts to request a missile launch, but Zixiang intervenes, urging him to remain calm. She reminds him of Chen's assistance and warns against rash decisions, emphasizing the potential consequences. 10 minutes later, every commando aims at Chen, shields raised. Captain Zhao orders everyone to stay alert with loaded bullets. Zixiang reminds Zhao of his earlier restraint, which he reaffirms. Meanwhile, Chen increases his power, unlocking his new talent, Virus King, and gaining 500 virus points. Devouring a rare mutant enhances his abilities, including a new one named Heavy Hammer. Pleased with his evolution, Chen feels powerful, but regrets the lack of challenge. He reveals his biggest gain of the day, a Flesh Mountain core. The core holds potential for crafting equipment and creating a flesh wall if controlled properly. Chen ponders whether to feed it more to grow another Flesh Mountain. His thoughts are interrupted when Zixiang calls him, prompting him to conceal the core. Zixiang introduces Chen to Lu Lei, a well-known journalist and internet celebrity. Chen asks if she secretly filmed him in the hospital, which she confirms with gratitude for his rescue. Chen modestly dismisses it, then asks if she captured his battle with the Meat Mountain mutant on camera. Upon hearing this, Lu Lei becomes a bit tense and apologizes, explaining that it's a professional habit of hers. Chen reassures her it's fine and instructs her to keep the footage, stating he has a use for it. Zhao then approaches Chen, relaying the district military commander Huang's request for Chen to explain himself and what he knows to the military. Chen remains silent, his thoughts drifting to Commander Huang Xingshu, a name difficult to forget. He recalls Huang's coercion of the weak and isolated awakened individuals after the trials, exploiting them like commodities. Initially, patriotism and righteousness reassured everyone, but it devolved into beatings and insults. Chen reflects on his own struggles and starvation, remembering how attempting to leave meant being branded a traitor and hunted down, forcing him to flee Jiangcheng. Addressing Zixiang as boss Zixiang, Chen asks if he should go and explain. Zixiang responds with a firm no, explaining she lacks sufficient information. Chen attempts to discuss the potential consequences, but Zixiang reassures him, insisting she'll handle it. Zhao interjects, emphasizing the duty of citizenship in Longo for both of them to understand. Zixiang steps closer to Zhao, expressing her anger and dismissing the concept of duty as a mere joke. She urges Zhao to drop his official tone, reminding him of his position as just a platoon leader, lacking the qualifications for such matters. Zixiang instructs Zhao to inform Huang Xingshu that any issues should be addressed to her first. Before Zhao can respond, one of his soldiers approaches, seeking guidance on handling the isolated personnel causing trouble. Ken eagerly inquires if a person named Liu Feng is among the troublemakers. Zhao also asks if it is true. The soldier confirms, stating that Liu is indeed causing the most trouble. Chen then asks Zhao that he wants to see Liu Feng. Zhao agrees to Chen's request and instructs his soldier to bring Liu Feng to them. After some time, Liu arrives, inquiring if Zhao is searching for him and if his dad, Liu Huinam, has called. He mentions his father's role as the vice president of the first hospital. Surprising Liu, Chen places his hand on his shoulder, covertly injecting him with the zombie virus. Claiming to seek Liu on behalf of someone with a message, Chen fabricates a story about Suixin's alleged desire for Liu's demise due to his actions with the zombie. Confused, Liu asks who Chen is. Chen concocts a tale about Suixin's supposed confession during a moment of intimacy. Shocked, Liu questions Chen's source, deeming it impossible for Suixin to be alive. Suddenly, Chen retreats, urging everyone back as Liu begins to show signs of transformation. Liu becomes furious, denying the accusation and demanding answers. Others react defensively, soldiers readying their guns. As Liu charges toward Chen, unaware of his own transformation, Chen delivers a powerful punch, sending him flying. Witnessing this, Zhao is astonished, questioning Chen's mutant ability and humanity. Impressed by the punch's effectiveness, Chen addresses Zixiang as Boss Zixiang, acknowledging her performance and promising to share information with her later. Zixiang invites Chen to call her by her name or initials, hinting at a deeper connection. Surprised, Chen questions her motives. Zixiang subtly expresses her interest in a deeper relationship, indirectly probing Chen's feelings. Understanding her intentions, the Jigachad responds, emphasizing that her value and performance will determine their future. Later, as they drive back, Zixiang invites Chen for dinner. Politely, Chen asks her not to disturb him until they arrive, to which Zixiang agrees with an okay. Chen begins pondering if it's time for the lucky draw, checking his inventory for potential rewards from defeating the Meat Mountain monster. To his surprise, he finds 2 skill books. The first is Rampage Bloodlust, boosting all attributes for 10 minutes with a 1-day cooldown, but decreasing all attributes by 50% during cooldown. Chen deems it useless and shifts focus to the second book, Muscle Enhancement. It significantly increases muscle mass and strength growth rate, but users risk losing flexibility and becoming muscle freaks. Chen acknowledges the value of both books for faction building or rallying people in the early stages of the trial, although they're not personally useful to him. Contemplating faction building, Chen assesses his rewards: 6 gold coins from defeating the meat monster, totaling 6 gold coins, 35 silver coins, and 6 copper coins. Knowing that creating a chat group requires gold coins, he decides to utilize them to gather pioneers for establishing a solid foundation before the trial. Chen emphasizes the importance of early-stage relationships in shaping later-stage factions based on his past experiences. Opting to create a group, he cancels naming it, resulting in the system automatically naming it Group 01 by default. After creating the group, Chen laughs and calls out Heloise's name, expressing his ambition to build the Divine Emperor city and establish a divine kingdom where she would be beneath him. 3 hours later, they arrive at Zixiang's private villa, where Chen has already shared some future information with her. Zixiang repeats his words regarding the cosmic trial, noting the uselessness of firearms and electronic devices, as over 90% of participants will undergo gifted evolution and become monsters. Chen acknowledges her understanding and inquires if she can leverage this knowledge for an advantage. Zixiang firmly responds with a no, stating it's not enough. Cutting to the chase, Zixiang asks Chen how she could become his ally. Chen emphasizes the need for ability and absolute loyalty, likening it to a loyal dog to its master. Zixiang confidently asserts her influence, wealth, and status in Jiangcheng. Chen counters, explaining how post-trial dynamics will render her current power meaningless, urging her to envision a future where everyone vies for the former queen and princess of Jiangcheng. Hearing Chen's response, Zixiang becomes tense, questioning the distinction between loyalty to him and being treated as a plaything elsewhere. Chen reassures her, promising a platform to showcase her abilities under his guidance without restriction. Touched by his words, Zixiang smiles and admits hesitation may lead to missed opportunities. Without delay, she approaches Chen, gracefully bending her knee, expressing her readiness to serve him and proclaiming him as her master. Thrilled by her commitment, Chen acknowledges the emotional value she brings due to her reputation and status. He gently touches her face, requesting to witness her charm firsthand and assigning tasks for her to handle. Later, in Chat Group 01, Zixiang messages Ms. Leng, asking if Luli has sent Chen's video. If yes, she instructs Leng to take Luli home for rest, considering her recent experiences. Additionally, Leng is tasked with ensuring Chen's posts are prominently displayed on major forums, sharing the title of his posts to the pioneers with the post ID Pioneer White Emperor. Surprised, Leng relays Zixiang's instructions to Luli, urging her to send Chen's video and accompany her home for rest. Luli expresses surprise at the instruction and questions if she should return home. In response, Leng explains Zixiang's concern for Luli's well-being and the need for rest. Accepting the directive, Luli responds with an okay, reflecting on her recent encounter with zombies and Chen's strength. She wonders if she's become more accepting of the possibility of danger or if Chen's presence has reassured her. Back at Zixiang's villa, her phone rings and it's her daughter Songji calling. Chen notices and answers instead of Zixiang. Without delay, Songji questions the urgency of her request to come home, relayed by Ms. Leng, and asks if something is amiss. Chen reveals that he's the one who answered, surprising Songji. She questions why he has her mom's phone and where her mom is. Chen explains Ziqiang's busy schedule and insists on an important discussion at home. Songji reluctantly agrees and instructs Chen to wait for her, expressing frustration at his previous lack of response. Before she can finish, Chen hangs up, infuriating her. She vows to assert her authority over him sooner or later. While sitting at his feet, Ziqiang asks if Chen would protect her daughter as well. Chen replies that Songji lacks ability and character due to indulgence. However, with more effort from Ziqiang, he can ensure Songji won't become a monster during the trial. Ziqiang expresses gratitude for his assurance. Later, Ziqiang and Songji travel in a car to the suburban secret warehouse. Overhearing her mother's conversation about Chen, Songji questions Ziqiang's trust in him, finding it absurd. Ziqiang explains she stopped Songji from seeking Chen due to her doubts and warns her to remain obedient and silent after they exit the car. Songji agrees compliantly. Meanwhile, at the suburban secret warehouse, Ms. Lang reports to Chen that she scouted all rumored locations of zombies and monsters in the city the previous day, finding only this warehouse. She explains it used to be an underground casino, now occupied by about 160 zombies who were former gamblers, without any special zombies like the Meat Mountain. Chen acknowledges this and considers the idea of a zombie slaughterhouse. However, he dismisses it due to the difficulty of eliminating the Meat Mountain in indoor hospital settings and the remote location of the secret warehouse, making it hard for news to spread if something happened. Ken confirms with Ms. Lang that she visited all the places rumored to have zombies but only found them at the secret warehouse. Ms. Lang responds affirmatively. By this time, Ziqiang and Songji have also arrived. Chen begins to speculate that someone is collecting zombies and that the location where these zombies are being kept could be a zombie slaughterhouse. He notes that the military only dares to contain a few dozen zombies at most, but this person aims to gather all the zombies and monsters. Finding this prospect very exciting, Chen openly questions whether the anonymous individual is a curious adventurer or a pioneer with insider information. Chen directs the workers to open the warehouse door, unleashing a swarm of zombies. He swiftly defeats them, impressing Songji and capturing Suixin's recording. After dispatching the zombies, Chen absorbs the virus from them, earning the title of Zombie Hunter and enhancing his attributes. He unlocks the serum formula in the talent tree, recognizing its vital importance in combating the zombie threat. Gathering everyone, Chen reminds Ziqiang of their pre-trip conversation about zombie combat strategies. Ziqiang confirms while Songji watches in disgust as the zombies are eliminated. Ziqiang explains the necessity of using cold weapons to minimize the risk of mutation during the trial and ensures everyone's safety. Chen holds up a zombie, inviting everyone to showcase their talents. Ms. Lang volunteers first, surprising everyone by swiftly dispatching the zombie with a brutal body slam and neck snap. Impressed, Chen commends her speed and precision. Ziqiang steps up next, attacking a zombie with a baseball bat. While she knocks it down easily, Chen notices she lacks the strength to finish it quickly, requiring multiple hits. Suixin follows, using her knowledge of anatomy to overcome a zombie despite her lacking strength. Chen acknowledges her effort. Handing the bat to Songji, Ziqiang encourages her to face the next zombie. However, Songji panics, unable to fight, and ultimately fails the challenge by wetting herself without even trying. Chen remarks on her failure. Chen beckons Ziqiang for a discussion, expressing suspicion about Ms. Lang's findings regarding the rumored zombie locations. He tasks Ziqiang with a thorough investigation. Ziqiang agrees and inquires about Songji. Chen, disappointed, stresses the importance of everyone's progress, especially Songji's. He emphasizes the need for efficient training, prompting Ziqiang to arrange practice for her. Tense with anticipation, Ziqiang mentions Chen's unresolved virus issue. Chen hands her a paper containing the serum formula, surprising her. Upon reading it, Ziqiang comments on its complexity. Chen explains its significance and the option to generate the formula with the provided materials. Ziqiang expresses gratitude for Chen's trust and vows to safeguard the formula while completing the task diligently. Chen acknowledges, instructing Ziqiang to proceed with her work and arrange for someone to send him back. Ziqiang confirms and suggests Ms. Lang as the messenger. Alone again, Chen checks his mobile, feeling tense at the mocking responses to his post. Amidst the negativity, a private message from someone named Shil catches his eye. Shil reveals himself as a fellow pioneer and inquires about Chen's knowledge. Realizing the potential for valuable connections, Chen asks about Shil's talent. Shil responds with an S-level mental control ability. Chen shares information about the communication features unlocked by the pioneer, directing Shil to chat group 001 for basic information. He invites Shil to reach out with any further questions after reviewing the materials. Shil joins the group using his real name, Han Xiao. He then messaged Chen, asking if he can invite someone. Chen inquires about the person Xiao wants to invite. Xiao responds that it is someone named Shuchuan. Hearing this name, Chen is stunned, recognizing it as that of the emperor-level powerhouse known as Su Qun. Excited at the prospect of such a powerful individual joining the group, Chen tells Xiao that he can invite any other pioneers he comes across. After this exchange, Chen has a hearty laugh. Eventually, Shuchuan joins the chat group. On the same day at 7:30 p.m., Luli is on a call with Zixiang. Zixiang asks if there are any results from the investigation into the collection of zombies. Luli confirms progress, attributing the actions to the forces of the Jiangxing Lord, who are funneling the zombies to the Manga container yard near the Jiangxing Wharf. She mentions dispatching someone for further intel, but they haven't returned, prompting her to proceed with the meeting. Suddenly, 2 injured men collapse before her, startling her. A man appears at the window, laughing ominously. Fearing discovery, Luli informs Zixiang tensely that she's been found out. Meanwhile, at Zixiang's mansion, Chen converses with Huai Liu, who seeks clarification on his talent's instructions. Chen agrees to help and requests the details. Huai Liu sends the term yin wood, prompting Chen to search for it on his panel. The search reveals that yin wood is the most yin of woods with an endless source of life. With yin's soul entering the body, it becomes the land of eternal life. Activating the wood body costs 1 spirit, while activating yin's soul costs 1 constitution. Chen notes that yin wood is an SS-level talent and informs Huai Liu that the cost of activating the ability is quite high. If his spirit is more than 3, it would cost a spirit to activate the wood body. Huai Liu thanks Chen for providing this information, mentioning that he has 5 spirits. Zixiang rushes to Chen urgently, prompting his concern. She explains that Luli discovered the zombies' destination at the Mankai container yard but was caught. The opposing party seeks negotiations. Surprised, Chen questions whether Luli was contacted or if she betrayed them. Zixiang denies the latter, asserting her trust in Luli's loyalty and their close relationship. She attributes the issue to the investigating team's actions. Determined to rescue Luli, Chen vows to intervene. Zixiang expresses gratitude for his commitment. Meanwhile, at the Mankai container yard, Luli is tied up by Xingmeng, a pioneer. He presents her with an ultimatum: submit to Zixiang or become his plaything. Luli struggles against her restraints as Xing approaches with a drink, warning her not to resist. Suddenly, Chen's voice cuts through, declaring that there is no grace in forcing someone to drink if the girl doesn't like it. Chen, calmly eating at Xing's table, surprises Xing, who wonders how Chen managed to sit there without his knowledge. Chen stands up and asks Luli if she's hungry, mentioning that the steak isn't bad. Furious at Chen's nonchalant demeanor, Xing feels mocked. Chen then feeds Luli, who is embarrassed, and tells Xing that he's there to take Luli back. Xing asks if Zixiang sent him, but quickly realizes that if Chen could get this close without being noticed, he must be a pioneer too. While Xing processes this, Chen unties Luli and asks her to go outside, mentioning that Zixiang is waiting for her in the car. Luli responds with an okay and leaves. As Luli leaves, Xing comments that it seems Zixiang is already under Chen's control. Chen agrees, and Xing remarks that it's interesting, suggesting that the Queen of Jiangxing wouldn't surrender so easily, implying Chen must have intriguing methods. Xing suggests an exchange of ideas, noting their influence over Jiangxing's major forces. He has subdued the Lord, Chen the Queen, leaving only the commander. Xing proposes an alliance to make himself king, offering Chen a significant role. Despite the toast, Chen surprises Xing by declining the offer. Infuriated, Xing throws his glass and boasts of his S-level talent, challenging Chen to drink the punishment wine. Chen counters by revealing his investigation into Xing's activities, including the creation of zombies from living people. He deems Xing's power harmful and useless, asserting his SSS-level talent renders him unworthy of assistance. Xing laughs and draws his weapon, revealing his talent called Slaughter Progression. He explains that this talent allows him to permanently transfer parts of the attributes from his kill targets to himself, enabling indefinite growth. Xing boasts that this invincible top-level ability is still just a single level. He then challenges Chen, asking if Chen, with his supposed SSS-level ability, is afraid he will instantly become a god. The Jiga Chad responds calmly, saying he's close enough but can handle it. He muses that Xing's ability and unlimited growth pure combat skill resembles equipment in its nature. Enraged by Chen's nonchalance, Xing charges at him, shouting that he hopes to increase his attributes by killing Chen. Xing commands Chen not to disappoint him. Just as Xing lunges at him, Chen dodges the attack and activates his special hammer ability. Seeing Chen dodge, Xing realizes that Chen has a shape-shifting talent, finding it interesting but still underestimating his strength. Chen, however, remains cautious, recognizing that Xing hasn't fully explained his abilities, so he's unsure of their full effects. Xing attacks again with his claws, and Chen counters with his hammer hand. Their punches collide, creating a massive impact in their surroundings. The force of their clash reverberates through the warehouse, shaking the walls and sending debris flying. After that punch, Xing is momentarily pushed back but quickly recovers and attacks again. Chen counters with his hammer hand, but this time Xing stops the attack by grabbing Chen's hand. Xing taunts Chen, questioning his strength and demanding that he reveal his supposed SS talent. The Jigachad responds calmly, saying he's been using his skills all along and that Xing simply hasn't recognized them. Enraged, Xing dismisses Chen's words as nonsense and unleashes a full-power attack. Chen, feeling the pressure, braces himself but is sent flying into the wall by Xing's punch. Xing stands over him, declaring that Chen's strength, physique, and agility are all inferior to his own power. He accuses Chen of pretending to be strong and insists that Chen's tricks are meaningless in the face of his absolute power. Suddenly, Xing coughs up blood, clearly shocked and confused by what's happening. His status screen displays two notifications. The influenza virus and encephalitis B virus have exceeded his immunity limit, reducing his physical strength by 3, his agility by 5, and his overall strength by 2. Additionally, Xing receives a negative buff, causing fear of light and water, as well as slowed thinking and movements. Struggling to understand what's happening, Xing hears Chen remark that his physique is indeed impressive, as it took a considerable amount of time for the viruses to take effect. Chen then asks Xing how it feels to have so many illnesses. Furious, Xing shouts that Chen is a sneaky bastard and goes to attack him. However, Xing's weakened state allows Chen to easily defeat him with a hammer hand. Chen retorts that he isn't sneaky, as he had already warned Xing about his various attack methods, expressing pity that Xing didn't believe him. He then devours Xing's entire body. A system alert appears, indicating a whole evolved human has been absorbed, completing the Black Light virus's initial awakening, significantly increasing Chen's attributes. Additionally, a notification shows him that his Black Light devouring ability has evolved, allowing him to view part of his target's memories with a low probability of obtaining their mastered skills. Seeing this, Chen feels happy as the attribute bonuses provided by the Blacklight virus have changed from active use to permanent attribute bonuses, a huge benefit for him. He checks how many attributes have been added and finds that it's 20% more strength, 20% more spirit, and 100% more regeneration, on top of the previous bonuses of 30% more strength. Picking up Xing's claw, Chen realizes that they can no longer play around with ordinary people, as those with basic attributes below 5 are too fragile for him now. He then examines the description of Xing's zombie claw, noticing equipment blueprints and consumables. Chen concludes that Xing must have been lucky to have obtained such items, possibly by defeating mutant zombies. Reflecting on Xing's fortune, Chen realizes it's a second-level production blueprint indicating Xing's high luck attribute. However, now all these possessions belong to him. As night falls, Chen exits the container yard, pondering how his talent has progressed from E to SS. The rumors of 3 strange events has been very rewarding. At the same time, he has also taken over Zixiang, the future lord of Jiangqing. Just then, Zixiang opens the car door, prompting Chen to get in. Considering his current strength, Chen decides it's not worthwhile to seek out randomly appearing monsters before the trial. Instead, he resolves to organize and prepare for the trial's advent in the coming days. Later, at Zixiang's residence on the eve of the trial, Chen eagerly awaits the impending start near the glass window. A knock prompts him to invite Zixiang, Leng, and Suixin inside. Zixiang updates Chen on completing his tasks on time, while Leng confirms terrain and population information for the Peak Villa area. Suixin adds that material purchases are finalized. Chen acknowledges their efforts and instructs them to lay out all information. Messaging his group, Chen reminds them of the impending trials, emphasizing the need for vigilance despite their advantages. As the countdown begins, members express gratitude and thoughts with each passing minute. With 10 seconds remaining, Chen asks Zixiang and the others to come and witness the impending change in the outside atmosphere, as the peaceful scene will soon become history. As each second passes, the tension mounts. At 5 seconds, Sonji expresses her fear to Leng, who reassures her. Suddenly, as the countdown ends, the moon turns a fiery red, signaling the beginning of the trials. The Blue Star Doomsday trial officially commences, with people transforming into zombies while survivors undergo evolution. Evolved humans gain innate abilities and can level up by gaining experience. Chen explains that other races from the universe will also participate in this life and death race. The Blue Planet becomes a proving ground with countless secret realms and world rifts, offering both danger and opportunity. Everyone must strive to grow and evolve. Suddenly, Chen notices his locket shining and receives a notice that the hourglass of time has been recognized and bound. Confused, he wonders what has been recognized, then recalls everyone else in the room and grows tense, not wanting anyone to know about the hourglass. Tensely, he turns around to instruct everyone to leave the room, only to be shocked when he finds them frozen in black and white. Everything around him appears monochrome, even the crashed airplane suspended in midair. Wondering if time is truly halted, he watches as his hourglass absorbs energy from the surroundings. A voice announces the successful binding of the time hourglass. Checking the screen, he discovers a skill called Going Back in Time, allowing him to return to any point in the past and erase all gain from the vanished timeline, with a cooldown of 72 years, 6 months, and 7 days. It is also given that this skill couldn't be modified by any skill or equipment to reduce its cooldown. Reflecting on it, he realizes that if he looks back, it seems that he was able to be reborn because of the hourglass. He also notices a column for status save and read. Status save allows him to mark the current physical and mental status and skill status without any cooldown, while status read enables him to read saved status without affecting memories or items held. He wonders how he acquired such a powerful life-saving skill with just a 1-hour cooldown. The environment then returns to normal, and Zixiang asks if he had any orders for them or if she just misheard. Chen confirms she heard him correctly and instructs her to confirm the safety of their villa as soon as possible, as the night poses significant danger. He directs her to put everyone on alert and begin clearing the villa area at daybreak. Zixiang and Lang affirm with a yes. The following day, zombies launch an attack at the villa. Zixiang swiftly counters, showcasing her mastery of the newly acquired Amethyst Eyes skill. This ability transforms objects into amethyst or employs them for offense or defense, its potency escalating with mental strength. Additionally, she's acquired the Insight Crystal skill, enabling her to discern the attributes of targets. Its effectiveness varies with mental strength. Zixiang utilizes her Insight Crystal to evaluate the zombie's attributes before launching her attack. Meanwhile, Lang has acquired the skills of an A-level assassin. With the assassin skill, one's breath becomes invisible and undetectable, while also enhancing strength and sensitivity. Lang effortlessly dispatches the zombies with a single strike. Next, Zixiang's guards attend to the wounded survivors, guiding them to the lobby. Suixin, feeling tense, instructs the guards to administer the zombie serum to the survivor for immediate treatment. Suixin herself now possesses the high-speed recovery skill, a level B ability that accelerates self-recovery from injuries and stamina, and can be actively applied to others. Later that night, Chen and Lang discuss the favorable progress. Lang confirms that everything is proceeding smoothly thanks to Chen's prior arrangements, with no unforeseen incidents thus far. Chen informs Lang that he's entrusting the remaining tasks to her, citing more pressing matters on his agenda. Although surprised, Lang acknowledges his decision with an okay. Chen then leaps into the sky, soaring with such speed that it creates a rush of air. Moments later, Chen races towards a destination through Jiangxing Mountain Road. Amidst his sprint, he reflects on the initial challenges posed by the Doomsday Trial, particularly the limitations on vehicles and firearms. However, with his current velocity, he anticipates reaching his destination on time. Recalling the mysterious sign he spotted on the first day of the Doomsday, he regrets not understanding its significance sooner but resolves to capitalize on opportunities this time around. Later at Jiangxing University, while Chen is absorbing viruses from zombies, a change occurs in the moon's signs. Chen interprets it as a signal that all evolvers eagerly anticipate, the descent of the avatar of the god onto Earth. Sensing the presence of the god nearby, Chen is interrupted by someone who identifies him as an evolver. This person, a merchant, expresses admiration for Chen's strength in the early stages of the trials and proposes a business deal. Delighted by the opportunity, Chen expresses his readiness to engage in business with him. However, the merchant humbly downplays the honor, saying that it is just a trade with him, so there is nothing to be honored about. Chen expresses that he's had the honor of hearing about him and eagerly anticipated their meeting after seeing his symbol. He then bows down in front of the merchant, addressing him with reverence as the kind, fair, generous, rich, and powerful god of trading, Lord Lido. Hearing this, Lord Lido appears in his true form and tells Chen that he is flattered by him and sees their meeting as destiny, so he decides to gift Chen a special reward as a meeting gift. Lido gives Chen a card explaining that it is a gold membership card to the Goblin Chamber of Commerce, which grants a 12% discount on every item purchased. Chen, seeing this, reflects on how in his last life he had been immune to compliments and praise, so it was good to be quick on the uptake. Chen takes the card with gratitude, acknowledging Lido's generosity and kindness, and Lido mentions that since Chen is willing to trade with him, he will show him the products. Chen observes the first item, the Thunder Walker Scroll, an S-grade item known for harnessing the power of thunder, boasting potent combat abilities. Priced at 500 gold coins, it's a formidable choice. The second item, Reaper's Touch, is equally impressive, an S-grade legendary sniper rifle exclusive to firearms professions. Chen is taken aback by these offerings and reflects that the Thunderwalker profession scroll is from his previous life, indicating it was purchased from there. He acknowledges Leto's vast collection of profession items, explaining that he wants all of them but apologizes for being unable to afford everything at the moment. Understandingly, Leto mentions that he knows evolvers wouldn't have much currency at the start of the trials. He reassures Chen that his products are of value and encourages him to work hard to achieve wealth. Anticipating future meetings, Leto turns to leave. Chen stops Leto and shares that he has heard the gods couldn't participate directly in the trial and need to invest in evolved beings to make a profit. Chen then asks Leto if he intends to invest. Leto gets impressed with Chen's insight and knowledge and asks if Chen wants his investments. The Giga Chad responds by mentioning that he has heard Leto possess a treasure highly regarded by the gods, suggesting Leto to invest that in him, promising he won't regret it. Leto responds by emphasizing that an investment must yield profits, something coveted by all gods. He questions Chen's ability to offer more than it's worth and expresses reluctance to engage in a potentially loss-inducing venture. Chen, demonstrating his evolved form with the hammer hand and claw, urges Leto to consider his capabilities. Impressed by Chen's SSS-level talent, Leto admits it's tempting but hesitates to invest heavily early on. To Chen's surprise, Leto agrees to give him a chance, advising him to cherish the opportunity. Leto mentions that if it weren't for the fact that Chen was gifted and didn't have the aura of other gods, he wouldn't have agreed. Chen inquires about receiving the precious investment immediately, but Leto declines, explaining that talent alone doesn't guarantee future success. He stresses the importance of proving worth through personal strength and growth. Suddenly, Chen receives a notice. The god of goblins and trading, Leto, has issued him an SS-ranked mission, the ultimate investment. Leto offers Chen a coin, which he can use to summon his shadow upon completing the task. Leto expresses his hope that Chen won't delay too long. Chen then requests Leto to show him the treasure that all the gods covet. Leto agrees and reveals the treasure, the dual profession scroll. This scroll allows the user to have two professions simultaneously, enabling dual attribute growth, attribute bonuses, and concurrent skills. Chen is stunned by this revelation, pondering if it's truly a dual profession. Leto confirms the transaction's conclusion and prepares to depart. Before leaving, he remarks that his day's harvest has been pleasant and expresses hope for Chen's task completion. After Leto's departure, Chen checks his mission panel to review the task details. The description states that to secure the most valuable investment from the god of trade, he must prove his worth by locating a special copy of the secret realm in Jiangxing University, defeating the creature inside, and obtaining a part of its body to present to Leto. Chen notices in the reward area that the reward will be decided by Leto. Impressed, Chen thinks that Leto truly embodies the essence of a god of trade. He reflects on Leto's good reputation from his previous life, surmising that he wouldn't suffer any loss if he didn't perform well. Chen then wonders about Jiangxing University, contemplating whether it had a secret realm in its early days. If true, it must have been well hidden as he had never heard of it before. He begins contemplating where to start looking first. Meanwhile, in the gymnasium of Jiangxing University, a young man is bullying students. Tom the bully demands that students plead to be his servants in a manner that pleases him, threatening harm if they refuse. The students defiantly reject his demands, calling him names. Tom becomes agitated and threatens to harm them, reassuring them that he won't let them die easily. Lin Qi, one of Tom's comrades, tries to intervene, but Tom hits her too, telling her to stay out of it. Suddenly, an explosion erupts in the wall, causing everyone to tense up. Emerging from the opening, Chen confronts Tom, asking if he had beaten those students. Tom proudly admits to it, asking if Chen didn't like it. When Tom looks up, he's stunned to see Chen coming towards him furiously. The Giga Chad punches Tom with a hammer hand, telling him to go to hell. Seeing Tom in trouble, his friend tries to help by fighting Chen, but the Giga Chad swiftly defeats him as well. While overpowering them, Chen asks if anyone among them is from the medical faculty, as he's looking for something and needs assistance from someone familiar with it. The students replied with a no, mentioning that one was a civil engineer and the others were foreign students. However, a girl named Jia points towards Lin Qi and recalls that Lin Kai is a medical student. Seeing this, Lin Qi gets tense and pleads with Chen not to harm her, insisting that she hasn't hurt anyone. Then Lin Qi starts saying strange things like how she likes the Dragon Nation and describes herself as having a passionate heart, which makes the other students laugh. Embarrassed, Lin Qi asks Chen to spare her, promising to do anything in return. Jia reiterates that Lin Qi hasn't done anything wrong and has even tried to stop the two guys. The Giga Chad responds that he understands. Outside, Chen instructs everyone, except for Lin Qi, to leave. He tells them to follow the trail of zombie corpses to the Jiangxing City East Mountain Villa area and report his name as Chen Bai. The people there will take care of them. Hearing this, they all become tense, expressing concern about the city being full of zombies and the distance to East Mountain Villa from the university. They fear they could die on the way there. Chen reassures them that he has cleared almost all the zombies along the way, so they don't have to worry much as they won't be in danger. He also mentions that since they are all survivors, they will be gifted evolvers too. Chen points out that if they are too scared to face the zombies now, what will they do when the zombies and monsters start growing in numbers? They will be as good as dead. Hearing this, they all are stunned for a moment. Jia thanks Chen as she understands what he is trying to say. Then, everyone leaves from there. Lin Qi asks Chen why she can't leave with the others and why he's keeping her there, but Chen doesn't respond. Feeling embarrassed, Lin Qi wonders if Chen is keeping her there for romantic reasons, assuming students in the Dragon Kingdom love foreign girls like her. She concludes that Chen must be the same. Lin Kai then asks Chen not to use violence against her, saying she'll be his wildest horse. Chen smiles and clarifies that he isn't interested in a horse with 1,000,000 riders. He reminds Lin Kai that he needs someone to help him find something in the medical department. Lin Qi feels embarrassed and apologizes, admitting she was so scared before that she didn't hear anything. Then she furiously shouts at Chen, saying he can't insult her like that, claiming she hasn't been ridden by thousands of people. She quickly adds that she hasn't been ridden by anyone until now, and she can prove it. The Jikachad responds with an okay, understanding her frustration. Later, they arrive at the Jiangxing University Stadium, where Lin Kai tells Chen she's tired from walking so much and asks if they can take a break. The Jikachad responds with a no and surprises her by holding her waist, explaining they need to go fast, and they start running. Lin Qi's shirt falls to the ground and she shouts about it, but Chen doesn't hear her. After a few minutes, they reach the medical department research building. Lin Kai, frustrated, accuses Chen of being too pushy, explaining that if she hadn't caught her foot in her shirt, it would have been embarrassing for her to be left in her underwear. Chen asks if it's the research building and Lin Qi confirms, mentioning a research room on the 3rd floor only accessible to professors. She adds that it's said to contain many samples and information about bacteria and viruses. She also points out the building's side, mentioning it's not a garage but Mr. Oshi's house and incinerator. Speculating about hidden secrets in the medical department, she suggests this might be the only place to look. Chen stands and asks her to follow him. Later, Chen is impressed by the numerous types of viruses stored in the virus research laboratory. He didn't expect the university to have such a valuable collection. He begins absorbing all the viruses, noting that most of them are the flu virus, but he doesn't mind given it's a university. His screen shows he has enough influenza virus points to upgrade it to a skill, so he decides to give it a try. After the upgrade, he successfully gains the influenza skill, which releases a flu virus that infects a target within its range, reducing all attributes and adding a negative condition. It also interrupts all chance accumulation and aiming when triggered. Reading about the influenza virus, Chen is pleased with its strength, interrupt capabilities, and powerful control, especially with the sneeze effect. Chen realizes that he hadn't paid enough attention to the reality of the viruses while going through the virus tree and acknowledges the need to focus more on this aspect in the future. The SSS level proves to be indeed terrifying, noting that he still has some virus points left and considering the complexity of the Goblin God's trial. Chen decides to use the remaining points to further increase his strength. Chen orders the Blacklight virus skill tree to open. He unlocks 2 skills, flying and concentration. The flying skill lets him cling to any surface, enhancing his balance and sense of direction. The concentration skill improves his dynamic vision and reflexes, doubling his muscle control. Chen ponders the phrase all muscles and touches a wall, damaging it with just 1 touch. Lin Qi is shocked and thinks it's fortunate Chen didn't use this skill on her earlier. Chen is pleased, realizing he can deliver a powerful blow regardless of the size of the target. Noticing Lin Qi blushing, Chen asks her about it. Lin Qi responds that it's nothing. Ken shares that there's nothing more for him in the laboratory and suggests they go to Mr. Oshi's repository. They reach the repository. Lin Qi is scared because there's no electricity. Chen asks her to be quiet and stay still, sensing a strange vibe from the incineration room. He opens the room and tells Lin Qi to stay outside. Lin Qi admits she's scared. Ken receives a notification on his screen asking if he wants to enter the dungeon named Cold Incinerator. He responds with an absolute yes. The screen indicates that a successful clearance could make the dungeon permanent, but if not cleared within 2 days, it would disappear forever. Chen realizes why he hadn't heard of it before. As he gets ready, activating his evolver form in passive mode, all the monsters begin attacking him furiously. The first mutant monster attacks Chen, but he easily defeats it with a claw slash, meaning 400 experience points. Surprisingly, second mutant waits for the first to fall, then begins to consume it to power up its attack. Suddenly, it unleashes a thunderstorm-like attack on Chen. He dodges it and realizes that each mutant has different attack skills, and the second's attack could harm the first. Despite the situation, Chen remains unfazed as the attack poses little threat. He retaliates with a powerful hammer hand punch, defeating the mutant. His screen displays that he has vanquished a level 7 spiced infant spider, earning 1,000 points. Chen feels delighted, realizing the dungeon offers plenty of experience points. He shouts at the mutants to come as fast as they can and proceeds to defeat them one by one, earning 400 to 1,000 experience points each time. Gradually, he dispatches dozens of mutants until finally receiving a notification that he has leveled up to level 4, gaining 2 attribute points as a reward. Ken addresses the main monster, mocking it for not coming out despite defeating all its minions. He even offers assistance, extending a hand. Suddenly, a wall of the machine breaks, revealing a massive meat-like monster emerging from it. Startled, Chen feels tense, wondering how it could evoke such a strong sense of danger. He quickly formulates a plan to eliminate it before it evolves further. Without hesitation, Chen launches an attack, but the monster swiftly defends itself. Undeterred, Chen attempts to infect it with his evolved flu virus, only to find it ineffective. As the meat monster fully emerges, it transforms into a giant form and retaliates with a powerful punch, sending Chen flying backward, crashing into the wall. Ken's screen displays the monster's name as Biomaniac. Undeterred by Biomaniac's fury, Chen defends himself and counterattacks with all his power. However, Biomaniac swiftly regenerates, recovering from the onslaught. Despite the intense battle, Chen seems oddly happy. He explains that since his rebirth, he hadn't been able to fight with all his might, but now he's thrilled to unleash his full power against Biomaniac. Chen also mentions that in a few more days, his hands and feet will become rusted, revealing his plan to use Biomaniac to restore some of his strength. The fight continues relentlessly, with Chen launching attack after attack while Biomaniac continuously heals himself. After an hour of non-stop combat, they are still locked in battle. Chen is amazed by Biomaniac's seemingly infinite regeneration, wondering if there's any limit to it. He activates his Hourglass status read ability. Chen declares his determination to test whether Biomaniac is truly immortal or not. Another hour passes, and this time Chen calmly observes that Biomaniac is taking longer to heal. He begins to wonder if there's a limit to Biomaniac's regeneration, questioning whether the monster will eventually stop healing altogether. Another hour elapses, and this time Biomaniac's size has significantly diminished, leaving the monster lying on the ground. Chen, feeling a twinge of sadness, urges Biomaniac that he isn't done playing with him yet. The fight continues at a slower pace, and after yet another hour, Biomaniac lies motionless on the ground, no longer glowing and reduced to the size of a small piece of meat. Chen observes this and realizes that Biomaniac isn't going to recover anymore. With determination, Chen decides it's time to end the chapter of Biomaniac. He stomps on Biomaniac, crushing it into pieces. As the dust settles, the screen reveals that Biomaniac was a level 8 boss, and Chen has gained a hopping 10,000 points from defeating it. Furthermore, Chen levels up, reaching level 5. He receives a notification that the dungeon has been successfully cleared, and he now has the option to exit any time. His screen presents him with an intriguing question, whether he wants to upload the clearance video as a paid guide. Chen agrees to the terms, requesting to hide his appearance, name, and ID. Meanwhile, at the villa, Zikyung is getting a healing massage from Sui Xin. Suddenly, she gets shocked to see an announcement in the chat group. A person named White has uploaded the clearance video of the nightmare-level mystery dungeon called Incinerator, with a viewing price set at 1 copper coin. Both Zikyung and Sui Xin are filled with curiosity and decide to watch the video together. Meanwhile, other pioneers also tune in from wherever they are. One girl is stunned by the speed at which Chen fights the monster. She has to slow down the video to observe carefully. Some viewers are impressed by Chen's skills, while others grow tense witnessing the monster's rapid recovery speed, questioning whether it's wise for Chen to engage in such a battle. However, a child pioneer girl feels joy seeing that Chen has fully recovered after defeating the monster. Simultaneously, inside the cooled incinerator dungeon, Chen absorbs the remains of the monster, and a notification shows him gaining 300 Blacklight virus evolution points. Reflecting, Chen notes that the Blacklight virus has its own evolution points, which he can only use to update its skills and abilities. Another notification appears, indicating that the Blacklight virus has evolved, increasing the speed of recovery by 300%. He has also acquired the biomaniac skill, Cell Regeneration, Grade A. This skill allows him to regenerate a severed limb using stamina or energy as quickly as possible. Delighted to obtain this passive skill, Chen acknowledges the low probability of acquiring such skills. Excitedly, he then decides to inspect the items dropped by this nightmare-level boss. In front of Chen, 3 golden items hover in the air, gleaming with an otherworldly allure. As curiosity gets the better of him, he grabs the first item, a golden scroll. The description reveals its dark nature. The Biodemon Professional Scroll, A-level and unique. It's an ominous profession feeding off other living beings to enhance itself, with the unsettling ability to stimulate its own cells, boosting strength and recovery. Of course, there's a catch. A little too much absorption might lead to disintegration or some uncharted genetic mutation. The scroll casually mentions that the consequences are unknown, which is probably code for you might want to think twice. To wield this power, one needs to be at evolved level 10 and physical level 15, a requirement that suggests this isn't for the faint of heart. Chen examines the item in his hand, weighing its potential. He recognizes it as a unique A-class profession with both risks and rewards, but he already possesses the Blacklight virus, a formidable power on its own. Deciding to move on, he picks up the next item, a golden test tube. The description reads Genetic Essence, Grade C, a perfect genetic enhancement that promises to significantly boost a person's physical condition, though it's a one-time deal for each evolved individual. With a casual flick of his finger, he pops the cap off the tube, noting that this one might actually be worth his time. Without hesitation, he pours the contents into his mouth. Instantly, his strength, physique, and agility receive a permanent upgrade. The next item catches Chen's attention with its air of mystery. With a delicate touch, he lifts it, trying to decipher its purpose. It appears strange, almost otherworldly. He wonders if this is a special item or a piece of equipment. Chen opens what looks like a long, jumpsuit-sized skin and reads its description. Faceless skin, Grade D special defense. This peculiar item boasts a mix of multiple genes, offering excellent defense while also addressing the ever-so-common problem of skin flexidity. It comes with a boost of plus 10 to agility, physique, and defense. As if that weren't enough, it promises body modeling, with prolonged use potentially improving one's shape and has better effects on women, or so the description suggests. What really seals the deal is its dynamic nature. After using it, the wearer can change the color and shape of any part of their body to match their whims. It's like having a built-in makeover machine, except it's a skin suit. Chen observes the item attentively, contemplating its potential. After a moment of silence, he muses that the description of this dynamic skin seems a bit ambiguous. He ponders its true nature, wondering if it's meant for body modification or simply serves as equipment. Holding the skin aloft with his purple aura, Chen examines it closely, trying to unravel its secrets. Then Chen accesses his inventory, recalling that he also picked up some items from fallen monsters earlier. These turn out to be common equipment pieces suitable for use as internal armor. Not bad at all. Among them, he finds a skill book, and with a hint of excitement, he selects it. Reading its description, he learns that the skill book offers a power called Activate Cells. This ability boosts cellular activity for a short period, significantly enhancing recovery capabilities, but comes with a cooldown of 10 hours. There's a caveat, though. If one already possesses the advanced version of this skill, Cellular Regeneration, this skill book becomes redundant. After carefully reading the description, Chen concludes that the skill book is invalid for him. No matter, he thinks, these life-saving skill books can still be traded for something else in the chat room. Glancing at the time, he realizes it's almost time to leave. He just needs to hand over this part of the boss's body to the god of trading, Leto, and the mission will be complete. Surely Leto never expected him to finish the task so quickly. After a few moments of silence, Chen remains still, deep in thought. Something doesn't sit right with him. Leto isn't just some wandering merchant in the game, drifting without direction. He must have come here with a purpose. Chen recalls the god's words, mentioning that he was an unexpected bonus, and how the unexpected harvest of the day was quite satisfactory. The more Chen thinks about it, the clearer it becomes Leto's original purpose likely involved this special dungeon. But something doesn't add up. The amount of experience Chen is gaining here doesn't seem significant enough to warrant the presence of a divine avatar. He wonders, could it be that Leto's true purpose has nothing to do with this dungeon at all, or is he overlooking something crucial? Assuming an investigative posture, he begins to piece together the puzzle. Chen closes the dungeon exit window and decides to head toward the incinerator, the same one where the biodemon made its grand entrance. If there's anything left unexplored in this dungeon, it's the interior of that ominous incinerator. Without a second thought, he crouches down and squeezes into the small compartment, navigating through iron plates dotted with tiny holes, clearly meant for some not-so-pleasant fire exits. The walls, coated in oil and grease, make the place feel like the world's worst slip and slide. At first, it seems like nothing more than a grimy, claustrophobic tunnel, and Chen can't help but wonder if he's just wasting time in a glorified chimney. But as he reaches the end, he spots a round opening above him. He wonders if there is something hidden up in that pipe. He figures that a little climb might reveal what's been lurking just out of sight. Besides, missing out on hidden secrets isn't exactly his style. Chen leaps toward the pipe, using his hands and feet to climb upward. The pipe seems much longer than expected, far exceeding the height of the room below. As he ascends, his expression shifts. Something surprises him. He realizes there's nowhere else to go. It's a dead end. He wonders, is that it, a dead end? It doesn't add up. There's nothing here, he thinks, as he continues squeezing through the narrow pipe, elbowing the final wall in frustration. Just as he's about to give up, something catches him off guard again. A face with a yellow glow suddenly emerges from the wall, a mask with open eyes and mouth, frozen in an expression of dismay. Startled, Chen retreats instinctively, caught off guard by the mask's sudden appearance. Almost without thinking, he reacts, delivering a punch to the mask. The mask shatters in a burst of bright yellow light. A few seconds pass, and Chen remains frozen in an expression of dismay, but then the item finally reveals itself, along with its description. The incinerator phenomenon is caused by an unknown force, and the mask, with its eerie glow, seems to possess miraculous functions and effects. The mask glistens brightly as Chen examines it, its features twisted into a face full of panic and terror. Chen stretches out his hand and picks it up, noting the unsettling way it's labeled. Unnamed with a question mark. It seems more likely to be a fragment of an SS-class item or even a god-tier relic. Incredible, he thinks. This must have been what LEGO was after all along. He reflects that now he has to find out a safe way to keep it hidden. He gazes at the mysterious mask in his hands, and a mischievous smile spreads across his face. Some time passes, and night has already fallen outside the medical university building. Chen returns, emerging from the incinerator, where Lin Qi, the girl he had rescued, is waiting for him. Seeing him leap out of the incinerator, Lin Qi couldn't contain her excitement. She mentions having watched his video, her enthusiasm bubbling over as she declares she loves him. Meanwhile, Chen, ever the pragmatist, is more interested in something else entirely. He asks her if she has any copper coins. Lin Qi, still grinning from ear to ear, explains that while others were busy battling zombies, she managed to sneak in a last-minute attack herself. She mentions that the price to view the video was just 1 copper coin, so there must have been quite a few spectators. Chen, curious, opens his interface window to check his balance. To his surprise, he finds he's accumulated a total of 869 gold coins, 93 silver coins, and 15 copper coins. Chen realizes it's not enough. He needs 1,000 coins to unlock the storage, which is protected by the will of the universe, making it the ultimate safe place to store items without detection. It's a bit like having a cosmic safe deposit box, but he'll have to wait before completing his mission. Closing the interface with a sigh, he starts walking, the girl following closely behind. She asks if they're heading to the Dongshan Villa area he mentioned earlier. Keeping his pace steady, Chen shakes his head, explaining that the night holds too many unknown dangers. Instead, he suggests they find a place to stay for the night first. With a flirtatious air and a friendly smile, the girl suggests that they head to some high-class hotels not far from the university. She notes that since it's not a holiday, the places should be quiet and the high-rise buildings would offer better safety. Chen, catching the playful tone in her voice, turns around with a mischievous smile of his own and agrees, telling her to lead the way. After a brief walk, they find themselves standing in front of the couple's motel, Motel Casa L'Amour, the building bathed in neon pink lights. A bold "Do Not Disturb" sign hangs on the door, adding an extra layer of suggestiveness to the scene. Chen might be wondering if he just walked into a rom-com, but the mission, and whatever else the night might bring, will have to wait until morning. Chen observes the girl, who is dressed in a nurse's costume, and with his hands casually tucked in his pockets, he declares that he's not impressed. The girl, looking shy and a bit confused, apologizes, thinking he had chosen this hotel for this very reason. Chen, with a smug smile, claps his hands and admits that while he wouldn't mind seeing a little show, he's not fond of what she's currently wearing. The girl, trying to salvage the situation, covers herself with her hands and decides to change. After a quick search around the pink room, she returns dressed as a police officer, spinning handcuffs in her hand, clearly trying to strike a balance between playful and commanding. But Chen, ever the critic, shakes his head, insisting she still doesn't have the right spirit. She returns next in a teacher's costume, but that doesn't meet his standards either. He finds it not well behaved enough. Determined to find something that pleases him, she changes into a schoolgirl outfit, but this only earns a dismissive comment from Chen, who finds it boring noting that she's already a student. He wonders if there's anything more interesting in this costume parade. Just when it seems like nothing will satisfy him, she appears in a captural costume, complete with a tail and cat ears. With a flushed face, she tries to seduce him, asking if this will do. After a moment of silence, Chen approaches her as she lies on the bed. He finally approves, saying it's not bad, and playfully declares that she'll be his little pet for the night. Later that night, Chen quietly gets up from the bed, leaving Lin Qi sound asleep. He mutters to himself about activating the storage function. The system responds with a notification, describing the feature. The storage space is now open, costing 1,000 gold coins. It allows Chen to choose a successor and cannot be detected by any skill or ability, ensuring absolute privacy and secrecy, all protected by the will of the universe. The system urges careful use. Without hesitation, Chen stores the mysterious mask in the secure space. After getting dressed, Chen leaves the motel, determined to continue with the next part of his mission. Finding an appropriate location, he pulls out a coin and tosses it into the air. The coin spins, creating a bright yellow star-shaped portal. As it forms, the system notifies him that he's invoking the god of goblins and commerce. The portal glows before Chen, who remains standing, lost in thought. A saying from his past life crosses his mind. Emotions are part of the currency when dealing with Lido. It means that Lido, the god of goblins and commerce, takes emotions into account when adjusting rewards, balancing the transaction or task. But of course, this only applies if you hold enough value in Lido's eyes. With a focused expression, Chen waits patiently until the god finally appears. Lido, accompanied by small sparks flickering around him, materializes with his usual confident stride. He produces a small lump from his pocket, remarking that he didn't expect Chen to summon him so soon. His tone carries a hint of surprise as he asks if Chen has completed the task to prove his abilities. Chen, ever prepared, confirms this and tosses a lump of meat toward Lido, the very part of the creature's body from the dungeon that was needed for the task. The biodemons remains land before the god, serving as undeniable proof of Chen's accomplishment. Lido remains silent for a few moments, observing the lump of meat on the ground, which still seems to writhe as if some remnant of life clings to it. After a pause, Lido remarks that it seems the creature has been dead for some time, guessing that Chen must have completed the task the night before. Curiously, Lido asks why Chen didn't summon him immediately, summoning a cane and placing a hand on his waist, clearly intrigued by the delay. Chen stays silent, prompting Lido to scrutinize him more sharply. The god senses there's more to this than meets the eye, suggesting that perhaps Chen didn't want the reward all that badly. Seizing the opportunity, Chen puts his plan into action. He responds with calculated humility, explaining that the delay was because he couldn't quite understand someone he admires and respects so much. Why did Lido hide the true difficulty of that dungeon from him? Chen gestures dramatically, surprising Lido with his argument. He reveals that it was only upon entering the dungeon that he realized it was nightmare level. If not for a few tricks up his sleeve, Chen admits he might not have made it out alive. Lido takes a few steps, then responds with a knowing tone. He acknowledges Chen's frustration but offers an explanation. This challenge, he reveals, was also part of the test. He explains that he couldn't hand over such a valuable treasure to someone who can't handle the unexpected. Lido's mischievous smile suggests he takes a certain pleasure in the unpredictability of the game. Chen replies, conceding that he understands the reasoning. He then shifts the conversation, asking about the reward and the next task. Lido, clearly pleased with the turn of events, claps his hands and turns to Chen. He admits it was wrong to hide the information, but since Chen proved himself, the reward for this mission is his to choose. The next task, Lido adds, will be the final round. With a snap of his fingers, Lido offers Chen a choice of one of the highest quality B-rank items as the upper limit. Chen examines the item options, each one displayed on shimmering light blue cards surrounding him. Lido stands nearby, smiling proudly at his vast collection of treasures. After carefully considering his options, Chen selects an item called the Scroll of Recovery. As soon as he takes it in his hands, Lido closes the shop with a satisfied nod, stepping closer. Lido, clearly impressed, comments on Chen's choice. The Scroll of Recovery is a production plan, and Lido acknowledges that Chen is experienced and has clear objectives in mind. Then, with a wide smile, Lido presents the final task. Chen's eyes widen in surprise as he reads the mission details. The task before him is no ordinary challenge. It's an SSS-level task titled Final Investment, Final Round. The objective is to obtain 2 SSS-level profession scrolls. The question looms before him, will you accept it? The crescent moon shines in the sky as Chen gazes at the mission panel open before him. The task is daunting, 2 SSS-level scrolls. The difficulty of it hits him hard, and he can't help but express his shock to Lord Leto. He gives a half-hearted smile, a bead of sweat trickling down his temple, and points out that even the gods weren't born with SSS-level professions. But Leto, with his ever-present mischievous smile, is not in the mood for negotiation. He acknowledges that he's well aware of the challenge. After all, his own first profession was only A-level. However, this task involves his greatest treasure, and it must go to the best place. Otherwise, Leto admits he'd have a hard time parting with it. Chen remains silent for a few moments, weighing his options. Finally, he realizes there's no way around it. With a resigned sigh, he agrees, knowing full well that accepting this challenge is the only path forward. Back at the Dongshan Villa area, the sound of loud booms echoes through the night. In the midst of the chaos, a massive rat, grotesquely oversized, carries a corpse in its mouth. This level 5 mutant rat, towering and ferocious, is wreaking havoc, roaring amidst the rubble. Some evolved individuals in the area manage to glimpse a few of its stats, but for most, the system simply states that the level difference is too great to reveal the rest of its abilities. Luli, crouching behind one of the ruined structures, is visibly shaken. She deduces this rat is far larger than anything they've encountered before, and the 2 teams that faced it were completely obliterated. Song Zixiang is hiding beside Luli, fear evident on both their faces. Luli, sweating and tense, points out that the mutants' attributes are 3 to 4 times greater than their own. It's clear that their people are no match for this beast. Song, with a mixture of frustration and resignation, suggests they stay away from the creature for now, admitting they can't handle it in its current state. However, she stresses the importance of keeping it under constant observation. She then orders her 2 subordinates into action, one of whom is sporting a head bandage that suggests they had a rough day. Suddenly, Luli's sharp perception kicks in, sensing an imminent attack like a sixth sense. Honed for survival, and she tells everyone to get away. The mutant rat, not one to waste time, charges forward, smashing through what's left of the structures with the enthusiasm of a bulldozer on a rampage. Luli throws herself over Song in a desperate bid to shield her. Song lets out a scream as she slams into the ground, while the rat, in its wild momentum, stumbles and crashes down, sending bodies flying like ragdolls in a windstorm. Luli, ever the loyal protector, urgently tries to help Song to her feet, insisting she must escape immediately. But Song, crawling and all too aware of the rat's terrifying speed, knows they're out of time. The rat's crimson eyes blaze with murderous intent, making it clear it's not here for negotiations. With a deafening roar, the rat leaps toward them, its massive form blocking out any hope of escape. Frozen in place, Song and Luli can do nothing but brace themselves. But just like in a classic superhero moment, someone descends from the sky, wrapped in a cloud of crackling purple lightning. Falling right above the mutant rat, Chen arrives with impeccable timing, delivering a powerful kick that sends the creature crashing into the ground, the impact so forceful it fractures the earth beneath. Song, eyes wide with a mix of relief and joy, can hardly believe it. Her savior has arrived. Chen, standing triumphantly above the downed mutant, casually remarks that it looks like he made it just in time. Without missing a beat, Chen starts giving orders. He instructs Xuan to gather the men, clean up the battlefield, and make sure to compensate and reward the families of those who fell in battle. He then turns to Song Zixiang, telling her to come back with him and explain the situation. Later, back at the Song mansion, Chen sits on the sofa, listening to reports while Song perches on the arm of the sofa beside him, and their companions gather around, attentively absorbing every detail. Chen reviews the situation. The zombies were eliminated, but just as the area was being secured, a swarm of mutant rats appeared out of nowhere. The origin seems to be to the east of the villages. One of the subordinates, looking weary, hands Chen another report, apologizing as she explains how these beasts suddenly appeared, destroying 6 warehouses and resulting in over 100 casualties. The detailed list of victims is included in the report now in Chen's hands. Chen, maintaining his composure, acknowledges the efforts made so far. He reassures them that what they've accomplished wasn't bad, especially given the circumstances. Recognizing their exhaustion, he instructs them to rest while he takes on the task of dealing with the remaining mutant rats in the village area and finding the source of the problem. Song leans toward Chen, her voice sweet as honey, thanking him for his concern but suggesting it wouldn't be wise if everyone went to rest, leaving no one to look after him. She then mentions she has someone in mind to recommend. Chen, ever the mischievous one, smiles and agrees. Song turns to the door and calls for someone to enter. Slowly, the door opens, revealing a girl with long blonde hair, dressed only in a top and panties, her hands behind her head as she holds up her hair. This is Ling Yu, someone Song has known for a long time. Ling Yu was rescued while cleaning the village area, and as Song explains, she studied law and works as a lawyer, which means she can help with the rules. Plus, she's willing to be one of Chen's trusted allies. Chen, with a look of playful intrigue, declares that Ling Yu can stay while instructing everyone else to go and rest. Once the room clears, Ling Yu approaches Chen, her face flushed with nervous excitement. She offers her help, saying that if he needs her to do anything, she's ready. Chen, ever the charmer, steps closer, placing a hand gently under her chin. With a teasing tone, he mentions he's heard that in her profession, she has quite a sharp tongue. He suggests they put that to the test, asking how she feels about it. Ling Yu blushes but quickly recovers, smiling with an innocent and graceful air, agreeing to his playful challenge. Sometime later, Ling Yu, kneeling before Chen, blushes and thanks Chen for the reward, wiping her mouth. Chen sits on the sofa, legs apart, casually reclined with his head thrown back, clearly satisfied with the outcome. With a smile and closed eyes, he compliments her technique, expressing his satisfaction. Chen then stands up and moves to the window, telling Ling Yu to join him. She obediently replies and walks over, while Chen, with hands on his hips, gazes out at the city. He begins to speak about the requirements for their rulemakers, but before he can get far, Ling Yu interrupts, bending over before him with a look of eagerness. Chen, caught off guard, asks her what she's doing and why she isn't paying attention to what he just said. Ling Yu, blushing even deeper, apologizes and explains that she didn't hear him because of her B-level ability focus. This ability allows her to increase the speed of her thinking and the sensitivity of her senses when she's deeply focused on something, whether it's thinking, feeling, or doing. However, the downside is that it blocks out all other external information. Chen takes a few steps, clarifying his earlier request. He explains that he called her over because from this vantage point, she can see all three areas of Dongshan, the upscale residential zones on the slopes, and the neighborhoods in the lower part of the mountain. He needs her to draft different rules tailored to these distinct areas. The girl turns around and confidently replies that she can handle it, asking if there are any other requests. Chen, with a mischievous smile, tilts his head and touches his chin, then mentions a simple request. He's curious about her abilities and wants to see just how far her senses can be stimulated when she focuses on her feelings. Blushing once more, the girl leans against the window, saying she's ready. She activates her ability, Focus, preparing herself for whatever Chen has in mind. It seems like this is turning into a very hands-on demonstration of her capabilities, with Chen eager to see just how far her talents extend, both in rulemaking and beyond. The next morning in the sewer exit of Dongshan near the river, Chen stands before a group of his subordinates, gesturing as he speaks. He explains that he discovered this location the previous day through architectural plans and traces of mutant rats. This sewer entrance is the den of those very mutants. With a decisive move, Chen places his foot on the sewer entrance, emphasizing the importance of what lies ahead. Song, his assistant, and several other disciples stand by, listening intently. Chen continues, acknowledging that while he could clear out the den on his own, his goal is to cultivate strong, reliable, and secure individuals who can protect everyone in his absence. He wants them to grow quickly, to be capable of handling such threats without him. That's why he selected this group and brought them here, to give them the opportunity to improve and prove themselves. Chen turns to face the group, his expression serious as he addresses them. He tells them to become the backbone of the village area and asks if they're ready. In response, everyone kneels, shouting in unison that they are. Chen laughs, scratching his head, and finds it amusing that some of the men call him Master. He tells them to stand up and suggests they call him Brother Bai from now on instead. The group stands, and the men respond enthusiastically, agreeing to the new title. Still chuckling, Chen shakes his head and steps into the sewer water, making his way toward the entrance grates. With a firm grip, he breaks the iron grates with his hands, opening the way forward. He declares that it's time to begin, and as he does, the system chimes in, announcing the activation of a special task, the sewer dweller. Chen looks around and asks if the others received the task as well. Song, standing beside him, confirms that she did, and her bodyguard chimes in, explaining that the task involves killing all the mutant rats and the Rat King, as well as investigating the source of the mutant rat swarm. The reward will be determined based on how well they complete the objectives. One of the subordinates also speaks up, confirming that they too received the same task. Chen leads the way through the dark sewer, with the group following close behind. Some of them carry torches, casting flickering light along the damp path. Song, glancing around, comments on the darkness, expressing relief as she had the foresight to have torches made. Chen, always one to find the silver lining, notes that the sewer is actually cleaner than he expected. The water runs blue, and the walls are surprisingly not as filthy as one might think. Just as they start to relax, a growling sound echoes from the end of the corridor. Chen quickly raises his hand, signaling the group to be cautious. Moments later, a horde of enraged rats appears, rushing towards them, leaping over the water with unsettling speed. With a grin of excitement, Chen activates his claw and hammer fist ready for the fight. He remarks on the sheer number of them, clearly energized by the upcoming battle. Song, never one to shy away from action, moves ahead to join the fray. Chen advances, tearing through the rodents with fierce efficiency, his companions following closely, cutting down the creatures. As they continue the onslaught, Chen reminds them to stay focused, urging them to follow his lead and ensure none of the rats are left behind. After the battle ends, a water fills with the bodies of the slain rats, piling up in the murky depths. The bodyguard, ever cautious, pokes a pipe to ensure the creatures are truly dead. Meanwhile, one of the subordinates approaches, announcing the discovery of a piece of ratkin equipment. Chen, sitting at the edge of the walkway, listens as Song, seated beside him, reports the situation. She mentions that this section of the pipe will soon be cleared and that they've already managed to clear 16 long and short pipes. They must be nearing the end of their task. Just as they start to relax, another subordinate runs over urgently, warning that more are coming. However, this time it seems there's only one. Smiling, Song volunteers to handle it, remarking that it's just a single opponent. Chen, still seated, calmly instructs her not to forget to use her abilities to investigate first. Song stands in the center of the tunnel, confidently activating her water volume perception vision. But as the figure comes into view, her expression quickly changes from confidence to alarm. She takes a few steps back, realizing the danger in front of her. It's not just any rat, but a boss-level creature, a level 7 boss. She reports in a startled tone that she can't see the specific attributes, but she estimates its strength is close to 30, with agility above 40, and its physique is formidable. Sensing the imminent danger, Chen swiftly activates his purple claw and leaps toward the creature, passing by Song, who shouts a warning, urging him to be careful. But her concern is quickly proven unnecessary. In front of her eyes, Chen's claw slices through the creature in a single devastating blow, tearing it in half with ease. The once formidable foe collapses, defeated, revealing a card labeled Plague Boots Quality E, part of a set armor. The description notes that these boots offer poison protection, reducing the effects of poison-type negative effects. Standing atop the fallen giant rat's body, Chen watches as his arm returns to its human form. With a mix of surprise and amusement, he comments on the unexpected drop, a set item from the Rat King. He quickly equips the boots, and as he admires them on his feet, he notes that although the quality is relatively low, collecting the full set would make it several times stronger than ordinary equipment of the same level. With the Plague Rat King now defeated, Chen turns his attention to the remaining task, investigating the cause of the mutation. The battle may be over, but the mystery behind these mutant rats still needs to be unraveled. Chen stands up and descends to join the group. As they move through the pipes, Song beside him voices her confusion about why they haven't encountered more rats after passing through 5 pipes. Chen, ever the cautious strategist, raises his arm, signaling everyone to hold off for a moment. He follows a trail of green mist, and as he advances, his system kicks into high gear, absorbing an unsettling variety of viruses, spores, bone spines, decomposition, mutated green spores, and black plague. With each step, the virus points in his system climb higher, like a twisted video game where the prize is more germs. Normally, a few viruses in a sewer are par for the course, but these strains are far from ordinary. Their sheer variety and intensity hint at something far more sinister, capable of endangering even an evolved being like Chen. He realizes that the source of the mutation must be close, probably lurking just around the next ominous corner. After assessing the environment, Chen turns to Song Ziqiang, deciding it's too risky for her to proceed any further. He instructs her to lead the group back to safety, leaving him to tackle the mystery alone. With a mix of reluctance and understanding, Song agrees and withdraws with the others, leaving Chen to walk the path where the virus points are spiking like an out-of-control stock market. As he continues deeper, Chen's curiosity grows alongside the virus points. The rapid increase fascinates him, making him wonder what lies ahead and how it might impact him. Turning a corner, he finally arrives at the heart of the disturbance. What greets him is a macabre yet oddly mesmerizing sight. A massive corpse floating midair, shrouded in a thick green cloud, clutching a scroll like it's holding onto its last will and testament. Chen can't help but think that this place is like paradise for him. The scene is both eerie and captivating, as if Halloween decided to show up early and bring a fog machine. The ghostly figure, draped in a tattered gown with long black hair cascading down, is surrounded by a soft, eerie green glow. Chen approaches the floating corpse, muttering to himself as he realizes that this must be the source of the plague virus. His eyes narrow as he examines the large, decaying figure, noting that the concentration of the virus seems to be emanating from a glowing scroll clutched in the corpse's hand. The scroll pulses with a bright neon green light, almost daring him to take it. Without hesitation, Chen reaches out, carefully removing the scroll from the corpse's grasp. As he unrolls it, he expects some sort of item description, but instead, he's met with a cryptic message. The priesthood of the plague made a sacred vow to consume the power of the spirits. Our cult locates the source of the plague. This plague is capable of creating eternal life. We sacrifice the most faithful to acquire the power of this scroll. This power grants us eternity. Our lives will be given to the heirs of the Supreme Master, and our spirits will always be by their side. Our names will be eternally remembered. Cult of the Plague. All things are corrupt, but life is not. Chen reads the ominous words aloud, the name Cult of the Plague striking a chord in him. He muses that he's never heard of this cult in his previous life, a rare occurrence for someone as well-versed in the arcane as he is. The cult's history is less of a concern to him now. What truly matters is the potential power contained within this scroll. No matter what mysteries this cult held, Chen knows that by absorbing all the viruses from this scroll, his strength is poised to make another qualitative leap. Holding the scroll, you can already feel the surge of potential within him. As Chen absorbs the virus, his hand becomes enveloped in a swirling green smoke, with lines of energy tracing across his skin. But suddenly, something goes awry. His arm reacts violently, transforming into a mass of purple tentacles that stretch and wriggle uncontrollably. Confusion and pain wash over him as he grits his teeth, trying to make sense of what's happening while clutching his own shoulder in an attempt to contain the chaos. A spiral of purple and green smoke forms, swirling around his arm as he struggles to endure the overwhelming strain of the absorption process. Just when it feels like he might lose control, the floating corpse that had been ominously suspended in the air suddenly crashes to the ground, lifeless once more. In that instant, Chen's arm returns to normal, the tentacles receding as if nothing had happened. His system immediately chimes in, informing him that the special task, the sewer parasite, has been completed. Chen receives 2,000 experience points, and the system initiates a random reward draw. Moments later, the system congratulates him on obtaining an item called Wall of Flesh. As the notifications fade, Chen notices a small blue and green mark now etched into the palm of his hand. Curious, he focuses on the mark, and the system provides another notification. Plague mark, proof of a central member of the Cult of the Plague. Granted from the terrifying levels of disease, this mark changes with interaction with other plague marks. Chen stares at the plague mark on his hand, still trying to fully grasp its significance. Just as he's piecing things together, a new and unexpected notification appears above his head, catching him off guard. The notification reads, "Not corrupted by the plague, obtains the plague mark and triggers conditions for subsequent tasks." The task Cult of the Plague has been issued with a difficulty level of SSS. Chen looks up, feeling a mix of distress and intrigue. An SSS-level task is no small matter. Above him, a translucent lilac window appears, displaying the task details. The Cult of the Plague, in their quest to receive the true god they have prophesied, wishes for the ancient goddess to be reborn and to arrive in this world. Devoted followers possessing the plague mark hold the qualification to become the true god described in the prophetic books. As a member of the Cult of the Plague, you must accept your mission. Prove that you are the true god in the prophetic books. Task goal is to find a plague bringer, and the task rewards are unknown. Chen reads the task details carefully, realizing this mission is tied to divine power. The weight of the situation sinks in as he understands that becoming the god of the plague could grant him the power to stand against his archenemy, Heloise, a formidable foe who has haunted his thoughts for far too long. The thought of facing Heloise head-on fuels his determination. To do so, he must embrace this new path and find the plague bringer. In front of Chen, a large portal materializes, its center swirling with a purple and lilac vortex that seems to pulse with energy. As he approaches it, Chen muses to himself, wondering if this is the generation of a new dungeon. Reaching out to the vortex, he triggers the system, which promptly informs him. The plague sewer dungeon of the Hell Cult is being generated. Time remaining, 29 days, 23 hours, 59 minutes, 59 seconds. A grin spreads across Chen's face as he absorbs the information. A Hell-level dungeon even more challenging than the nightmare level of the incinerator is in the works. With a generation time of 1 month, it's clear that this dungeon won't be a walk in the park. The difficulty level promises a formidable challenge, and Chen can't help but feel a thrill at the thought of what lies ahead. Deciding to bide his time, Chen makes a mental note to return in a month. For now, he has other preparations to make and plenty of time to gear up for what is sure to be one of his toughest tests yet. Meanwhile, Song stands in front of another vortex at a different location, inspecting the portal. As she touches it, the system informs her that the East Mountain Sewer Dungeon has been generated, featuring a normal difficulty with a recommended level range of 1 to 10 and an entry limit of 3 times per day. Chen arrives walking through the tunnel and comments that reaching level 10 is crucial for everyone to evolve. Song turns to him with a smile, pleased to see him back. She mentions that she's already sent someone to gather everyone to enter the dungeon in groups to maximize their chances for evolution, ensuring they make the most of the 3 daily entries. Chen nods, approving her initiative, and tells her she's done a good job. 20 minutes later, Chen stands in front of the vortex, gesturing as he addresses the group. He reminds them that the sewer dungeon space isn't fully open yet, so they should enter in groups of 4 to 8. He emphasizes the importance of prioritizing survival over everything else. First life, then profit. The group responds in unison, acknowledging his words. Chen then turns to the girls, telling them that the 3 of them will be coming in with him. However, he makes it clear that they're on their own. He won't intervene unless absolutely necessary. This is their chance to prove themselves, and Chen wants to see if they can manage the challenges ahead without relying on him. Song Ziqiang, her daughter Song Ji, Luli, and Ling Yu gather together, responding in unison with a respectful "Yes, Brother Bai." Chen then instructs them to form a team and join the chat group he created. The system promptly notifies them. Evolved number 001 Bai invites you to join the chat group White Emperor Palace. Song, noticing the significance of the number 001, exclaims in surprise, her mouth open in astonishment. Chen spreads his arms and explains with a casual smile that the number merely indicates the order in which one becomes evolved. Nothing more, nothing less. No need for fanfare, just another day as number 1. Song Ji, however, is less impressed and more annoyed. She approaches Chen with a complaint, asking why she wasn't invited to the chat group. Chen, not one to mince words, responds with a straightforward explanation. He didn't invite her because this is his inner circle, reserved for the loyal and capable. With a hint of teasing, he reminds her of the time she got so scared by zombies that she wet herself, making it clear that someone who crumbles under pressure isn't quite ready for this exclusive club. Leaning in close, Chen's words have the desired effect, leaving Song Ji embarrassed by the reminder. Song Ji, feeling the sting of Chen's words, steps back and defiantly touches her chest, declaring loudly that she's grown up and shouldn't be underestimated. Chen, amused by her determination, opens his arsenal in front of her, offering her the chance to prove herself. He tells her to choose some good equipment and enter the dungeon, challenging her to show him how much she's really grown. Once inside the sewer dungeon, they encounter various mutant rats. Song Ji, equipped with a dagger, cautiously approaches the creatures. Her mother, Song Ziqiang, and Luli follow closely behind, but Song Ji signals them to stop, insisting she wants to handle this on her own. Respecting her wish, they halt while Chen watches from a distance, curious to see how she will fare. As Song Ji advances slowly towards the rear of the rat horde, Chen takes the opportunity to converse with Luli, admitting that he's still uncertain about what are her and Song Ji's talents. Luli, creating the illusion of a sword in her hands, explains her own talent, Grade B illusion. This ability allows her to create disembodied phantoms based on her imagination, a skill that plays a minor role in combat but can be quite useful in certain situations. Luli then reveals Song Ji's talent, Grade C natural aptitude. This talent significantly boosts her experience and proficiency growth by 50% when she's on the battlefield. Meanwhile, Song Ji moves forward with determination, fearlessly taking on 2 mutant rats at once. Chen watches her with a smile, commenting on her accelerated growth. He notes to Luli that for now, her ghost creation ability might be more useful in combat. Luli nods quietly, not adding anything more. After a brief but intense fight, Song Ji successfully takes down another rat. Stepping triumphantly on the body of one of the fallen creatures, she proudly declares her victory, pointing out that she managed to defeat 3 rats on her own. She remarks on how much more powerful these rats are compared to zombies, clearly proud of her accomplishment. Chen approaches her with a smile, acknowledging her efforts. He teasingly suggests that considering how hard she's working, they might make an exception and agree to let her join his harem. Song Ji, blushing at the implication, quickly retorts that she has no interest in joining his harem, she just wants to prove herself. Chen, ever calm, gestures and tells her that he respects her decision and won't send her an invite. However, instead of feeling relieved, Song Ji blushes even more and stammers, unable to fully express herself. Chen, noticing her reaction, raises an eyebrow and asks what. The girl turns her face away, blushing even more, and finally admits that she wants to join. Chen, with a playful smile and his hands on his hips, teases her, pretending to hesitate. He acts as if her lack of enthusiasm might be a reason not to send the invite, savoring the moment as Song Ji pouts, trying to find the right words. Before she can respond, her mother, Song Ziqiang, steps in. She gently places a hand on her daughter's face and reveals that Song Ji really does want to join. Apparently, she was even upset earlier because the person her mother introduced to Chen was Ling Yu and not her. The revelation leaves Song Ji blushing even more, clearly embarrassed that her feelings are out in the open. Chen crouches down to Song Ji's level and tells her that seeing the sincerity in her mother's eyes, he has decided to let her join. He sends her the invitation, and the next second, the system chimes in, confirming that Song-ji has accepted the invite and is now part of the group. With a bright smile, she quickly turns and heads off to kill monsters, her earlier embarrassment giving way to determination. As she walks away, Chen can't help but chuckle, thinking to himself that this little princess has quite the attitude. Song Zixiong, standing beside him, reassures him that her daughter is just stubborn and that there's no need to worry. She even hints that after they complete their mission and return to the village, Song-ji will be calling him daddy without a second thought. Song Zixiong playfully touches Chen's chin, and he comments on how determined her daughter is. With a bit of pride, Song Zixiong agrees, saying that in a world that has changed so drastically, determination is essential. For Song-ji, a young girl who hasn't faced many hardships, having someone like Chen to look up to is something special. In the luxury suite of a hotel, one of the awakened members of Chen's chat group is enjoying a moment of relaxation in the bathtub. The steam rises from the warm water enveloping her body, while a towel rests on her head. She sighs contentedly, thinking about how comfortable her life has become in the midst of the apocalypse. All thanks to the great advice from the group leader, Chen. Suddenly, a system notification pops up informing her that Chen has taken his companions to a higher level of the dungeon. Her eyes widen in surprise and admiration as she reads the message. Chen has cleared another dungeon again. She can't help but marvel at how amazing he is, especially considering she hasn't even set foot in a dungeon yet. As the notification mentions a video, she grumbles about the cost -10 copper coins but quickly decides it's worth it. She gets up from the tub, dries her hair, and clicks on the video. As the footage plays, she notices Song-ji, Chen, and Luli in action. Her initial excitement is tempered by some skepticism as she watches the group, particularly focusing on the women. Meanwhile, a muscular boy sits on a bench, casually holding a spear surrounded by the unconscious bodies of other defeated men. He's watching the same video on his device. He comments to himself that while these girls clearly have good talent, they're still too green when it comes to real combat. Growing impatient, he grumbles about wanting to see Chen in action instead. With a quick tap on his screen, he fast-forwards through the footage, eager to get past the preliminary skirmishes and see the real star of the show. The masked boy in a green hood, perched atop a building, notes that the monsters in the deeper levels of the dungeon are far too powerful for the group to handle, even with Bad's guidance. The challenge has clearly escalated beyond their abilities, and now the group leader is finally stepping in to take action. Another group member notices the boss's arrival, noting how formidable it appears. A strong black man in an orange tank top, clearly skeptical, questions the strength of the so-called Eastern inferior. Another man sitting below him dismisses any concerns, attributing their failure to find the dungeon to bad luck, and confidently claims that this Eastern challenger can't possibly be stronger than Tom, who boasts an S-level talent. However, Tom, sitting right beside him, quickly shatters that assumption. With a mix of surprise and resignation, he admits that the boss was taken down in mere seconds, making it clear that this supposed inferior is actually much stronger than he is. Lying naked on the bed, the blue-haired girl, fresh from her bath, reflects on the impressive feat she just witnessed by defeating a level 10 boss. The group leader's strength clearly knows no bounds, and his advice on women's fighting techniques is just as sharp. She can't help but feel a pang of envy for those lucky girls in his city, getting all that personal guidance. As her thoughts drift to Chen and the video she just watched, her hands slowly glide over her body, lost in the moment. Meanwhile, in the office of Song Zixiong's villa, Chen is busy giving instructions to Song Zixiong. He points out that once everyone clears the sewer, there will be a lot of low-level equipment up for grabs. Chen stresses the urgency for Song, Lingyu, and Luli to collaborate swiftly in establishing rules for the base's economy and equipment trade. With time ticking, their coordination is crucial. Song, standing before him, listens intently, prepared to execute the orders without hesitation. Chen then directs her attention to a table where several items are arranged, noting that he has something special for her. With a nod, Song approaches and picks up the first item, a meatball-like object that appears rather strange at first glance. It's marked as flesh and blood wall material, something that can be cultivated by devouring flesh and blood. It's stronger than any wall they could build and also has a strong deterrent effect when used correctly. Song then takes the second item, a shiny purple scroll. By reading the scroll, one can return to the marked city with its effectiveness depending on the manufacturing materials. This is something that can save one's life. Song comments that with this they can become the sole ruler of Jiangche in a short time. Finally, she picks up the glowing golden jumpsuit, something that seems like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. She reads that it can enhance body shape and allow the wearer to transform into any appearance. Song can't help but imagine the possibilities, though the idea of shape-shifting might take some getting used to. Chen sits back in his chair, a bit skeptical, and wonders aloud if this is really as important as the first two items. Song leans over the table, a playful and seductive expression crossing her face. She assures him that it is, reminding him that he's the true master of all this and anything that pleases him is top priority. Without missing a beat, Song playfully drapes herself across his lap. Chen, not one to be well-versed in women's clothing, hints that he's curious to see what surprises she might have in store. Blushing slightly, Song responds in a sweet voice, teasing that there are indeed surprises but not involving her directly. She adds with a mischievous smile that she plans to let Song Ji officially meet her daddy tonight. Promising to handle everything herself, she assures Chen that she'll dress Song Ji properly. She then tells him to wait for her return. Later, Chen carefully carries one of his concubines in his arms. She had fallen asleep after a night of pleasure, and with a gentle touch, he places her in bed alongside the other girls, all of whom are also sound asleep, exhausted, and clad only in their underwear after serving him. Turning away, Chen begins to dress himself, slipping into a gray overcoat. As he does, the system chimes in with a notification. Plague mantle equipped. Plague set 2 of 5 equipped. With a smirk, he starts to walk, musing aloud about the day's events. The sewer dungeon yielded only one piece of the plague set after 3 attempts. He calculates that if he can continue at this rate, 1 piece every 3 tries, he'll complete the set in just 3 days. In front of him, the inventory status window opens up, but something else catches Chen by surprise. A system alert notifies him that a member named Dreamy from chat group member 01 has initiated a private chat. Curious, Chen steps out of the main room where the other girls are resting and closes the door behind him. He then opens the message. The message reads that Dreamy has watched the group leader's strategy video and is impressed. She asks if he can provide combat guidance tailored to each person's talents and abilities. Admitting that she isn't very skilled in combat, she expresses her desire to receive his guidance as well. Reading her request, Chen considers it for a moment before replying. He explains that giving specific guidance requires a certain level of understanding about her abilities. He offers to help analyze her talent if she's willing to share it with him. If she prefers to keep her talent private, he suggests she can provide her attributes instead, though he cautions that attributes alone might not reveal enough for a thorough analysis. On the other side, the girl with pink pigtails, Dreamy, quickly types back, saying if it depends on her talent details, she'll send it to him right now. Chen waits for the response, musing to himself that he's never heard of Dreamy in his previous life, but considering that people in the group are pioneers, her talent shouldn't be anything ordinary. However, what he sees next completely exceeds his expectations. Ken's eyes widen in surprise as he reads the details in front of him. Dream Butterfly, Dream Points 31. It's astonished by the SSS-level supernatural ability with infinite growth potential. This kind of skill can't possibly be something obscure. He realizes that she must have been someone who died early in his previous life. Quickly, Chen responds, noting that SSS-level talents are extremely complex and asking for more details about the effects of her abilities. The girl responds without hesitation. She explains that Dream Butterfly allows her to enter a dream world identical to the real world and even enter other people's dreams. Additionally, she can retrieve certain things from the dream world. She goes on to describe dream weaving, which lets her adjust anything in the dream world, though she can only alter a few things at the moment. To dream with her, others must be invited into her dream world by creating a dream totem. Ched reads everything and then smiles, thinking to himself that as long as the real body isn't discovered, this ability is practically invincible. Dreamy then suggests an idea, proposing that she could send a dream totem in the form of an image to invite him into her dream world for guidance. However, Chen immediately refuses, noting that he would have no protection in her dream. But the girl isn't so easily deterred. She quickly counters, suggesting they sign an evolutionary contract, promising not to harm him in any way. Chen is taken aback, his thoughts racing at the mention of an evolutionary contract. He knows that such a contract, recognized by the will of the universe, would cost at least 10 gold coins. Curious, he quickly questions her, wondering aloud why, if she has the means to get 10 gold coins, she would still need to ask him for combat advice. Dreamy replies confidently, explaining that she can kill monsters in the dream world, and they will also die in reality. Additionally, she can use dream weaving to adjust the drop rate of monsters in the dream, which is how she has enough gold coins. To sweeten the deal, she even offers to give Chen additional rewards, sending over 2 special items, 1 D level and 1 F level. Chen examines the items. He seems impressed by the girl's incredible ability. He muses that her talent might even rival his own Virus King. Dreamy, sensing his hesitation, bites her lip and pleads with him. She admits that while she is very strong in the dream world, she feels weak in reality. There's a strong fear gnawing at her, that if she doesn't improve her combat abilities soon, she knows she will die sooner or later. Chen considers her words carefully. Her hunch is spot on. Her ability, while powerful, doesn't improve her physical aptitude at all. That's a significant weakness, one that could indeed be dangerous if left unchecked. He responds to the girl, asking her to send over the draft of the evolutionary contract she prepared. As he moves to one of the rooms, Chen thinks to himself that if she's willing to sign a contract, then of course, he'll help her. A talent as powerful as hers is something he should definitely recruit for his own purposes. Soon after, the contract arrives and Chen reads through its terms. The system alert reads, "Evolutionary player Dreamy has sent you an evolutionary contract." Evolutionary contract. Dreamy promises not to take any actions that cause harm or negative impact to Chen. Violating the contract will result in the loss of her evolutionary status. Contract validity period, 24 hours. Chen considers the terms carefully, knowing the serious consequences of any breach on her part. This contract might just be the key to securing her incredible abilities for his own advantage. Chen accepts the contract, then changes into different clothes before heading to the guest room of the villa. He lies down on the bed, getting comfortable while reflecting on how Dreamy's totems require the observer to remain relaxed and focused for 3 seconds to enter the dream. If the observer is cautious, it might take a bit longer. In the private chat, a small totem appears, a pink and purple letter with glowing, mystical designs. Chen examines it closely, pondering just how terrifying this ability could become if it evolves to allow the user to see and enter dreams at will. Suddenly, after just a few seconds, Chen finds himself in a completely different room. He's no longer lounging on the bed, but standing in a brightly lit space, face to face with a pink-haired girl wearing slippers and a brown nightgown, clutching a teddy bear like she's ready for the world's most adorable battle. She introduces herself with a friendly smile, explaining that her name is Meng Meng, which means dream. She adds that she's the Dreamy who just signed the contract with him. Chen introduces himself, saying his name is Chen Bai, but she can just call him Bai. He glances around, noting that while this is her dream world, it doesn't seem like the best place for combat training. The girl, placing her teddy bear in the corner of the bed, responds with a playful smile, telling him she's already prepared a gym not far from here. With a casual wave of her hand, she opens a portal framed by pink butterflies that reveal a sky on the other side. Chen can't help but think to himself how surreal it all is. Dreams really do come with all the bells and whistles. Peeking through the portal, Chen finds them hovering over a large city, the buildings below stretching out like a maze of concrete and glass. Ken, curious about their destination, asks if this is the gym she mentioned. He can't help but notice how expansive her dream world seems. The girl, who stands much shorter than Chen, smiles up at him and explains that the dream world is independent and doesn't actually belong to her. She clarifies that as a dream traveler, she can only enter and modify it. Based on her explorations so far, she's discovered that the dream world reflects the real world. Ken gestures in understanding, ready to get started. He suggests they head to the gym and begin the training. Meng Meng cheerfully agrees, and as she steps through another portal, it leads them to an empty space with a pink bridge stretching out before them. Chen follows her, carefully stepping onto the bridge as translucent pink butterflies flutter around them, adding a whimsical touch to their surreal journey. They arrive at basketball court inside the gym, where Meng Meng, with a playful flair, brings a large beam of light to illuminate the court. Chen, hands casually in his pockets and head tilted back, can't help but think that Meng Meng looks a bit like an elementary school kid showing off a new trick. She, with an innocent smile, reveals a bit of her past, mentioning how she used to be a novelist before the apocalypse. Chen can't help but think that's quite the career pivot, from writing stories to navigating dream worlds. Taking a seat at the edge of the court, Chen gets ready for the training. He knows Meng Meng wants to strengthen her abilities in the real world, and the best way to do that is through combat. He tells her not to rely on her dream world tricks this time. He wants to see her current fighting level. The girl raises her hands, getting into a defensive stance. She explains that in the dream world, her attributes are boosted to match her mental strength, which is at an impressive 48. She warns Chen to be careful, clearly feeling confident about her enhanced abilities. Chen stands up, unfazed, and encourages her to attack with all her strength. The girl responds eagerly, charging forward with a shout, throwing herself entirely at Chen. But with just one step, Chen easily dodges, causing her to nearly tumble to the ground as she passes by him. He calmly points out that her balance is off. Without it, she can neither land a hit nor retreat effectively. He suggests she try again. Confused but determined, she turns around and starts swinging her arms wildly toward Chen, looking more like she's flailing in a cartoon than executing a proper attack. Chen chuckles, noting that her moves resemble the infamous turtle punch from children's martial arts. Effective if you're fighting imaginary foes, perhaps. As she stumbles and falls again, Chen dodges her attack effortlessly and begins instructing her, demonstrating some precise punches in the air. He emphasizes that balance is key. A punch that leads you off kilter is the weakest. Next, he advises her to focus on the target, aiming where she wants to strike instead of flailing randomly. Lastly, he tells her to keep an eye on her opponent, not just get lost in her own attack. Chen launches a quick attack at the girl and she falls back, unable to keep up with his speed. He then walks over, offering a hand to help her up, and calmly tells her that he now understands her current level. He reassures her, saying that if she focuses on the 3 key points he mentioned earlier, she'll be fine. He adds that his punch speed didn't even exceed 20 and she still couldn't keep up. Meng stands up a bit embarrassed and admits that she's not very good at this. Chen, ever the patient instructor, tells her there's no need to apologize. What matters is working hard and training. The girl blushes, lowering her head slightly, and promises that she'll put in the effort to improve. 7 days later, back at Dongshan Village, Song leans on the sofa, recounting the latest events to Chen. She informs him that all the laws have been posted, and there are people stationed in front of each panel to explain them to the residents. Chen, sitting on the sofa, nods in approval, acknowledging that the Dongshan area is back on track. He then mentions that he's been busy cleaning up the Dongshan area over the past few days, but now that things are in order, he's leaving the management to Song. With a hint of finality, he adds that he'll be heading out early tomorrow, leaving the village in her capable hands. Song leans in at a hint of concern in her voice and asks if Chen is really leaving so soon. She expected him to stay a bit longer, especially since his plague set is still missing one piece. The status panel in front of Chen indeed shows that the plague set is only 4 out of 5 items. Chen leans forward, resting his elbows on his thighs, and explains that he doesn't have time to wait around for a low-grade E-item set. There are too many opportunities and precious treasures out there, and he needs to go out and claim them. Song, not easily dissuaded, leans over him, letting her chest brush against his face, and teasingly suggests that he should think about them too and come back soon. She adds that if the Emperor Bai's palace gets flooded, no one will be able to control it. Chen chuckles, playing along with the metaphor. He quips that if there's a flood in his land, they should gather everyone for a good discussion on how to close the water outlet. Song blushes and gasps at his words, responding with a coy, "As you command, my lord." Later that night, Chen and the girls retire to the bedroom. Embracing his mutations, Chen creates tentacles on his arms and other parts of his body, skillfully attending to all the girls at once. The room fills with gasps and blushing faces as the girls try to keep up with the tentacled master at work, who might just be setting a new standard for hands-on leadership. The next morning, Chen quietly closes the door behind him, leaving the girls sleeping peacefully in a bed that's still a little worse for wear after the previous night's escapades. As soon as he steps out, he runs into Luli. He assumes she's looking for Kyun's clothes, mentioning that she hasn't woken up yet. But Luli shakes her head, her gaze fixed on him. She calmly replies that she's actually looking for him. Chen, slightly surprised, asks what's wrong, knowing that Luli doesn't usually seek him out unless it's something important. As they start walking together, Luli explains that someone is causing trouble in the settlement at the foot of the mountain. Chen, ever the problem solver, nods, already thinking about how to deal with the latest headache. Chen, walking with his hands casually in his pockets, questions why Luli is fetching him for this kind of issue. He mentions that the rules of Dongshan have already been posted, so wouldn't it be better to handle things according to those rules? Turning around, he gives her a curious glance, wondering why this situation requires his personal attention. The girl stops, clasping her hands in front of her body, and apologizes for bothering him. She explains that they already dealt with the situation, but someone mentioned that one of the troublemakers might be one of Chen's old classmates. Hearing this, Chen's demeanor shifts. He straightens up, the casual air replaced with a more serious tone, and tells her to take him there. Luli, catching his change in attitude, smiles and agrees, leading the way. As they descend the stairs to the base of the mountain, Chen follows closely behind. When they reach the settlement, they find police officers with shields and guns containing a protest. As Chen Bai descends the stairs, a boy with brown hair catches sight of him and shouts, "Chen Bai is here." "I saw Chen Bai." Luli, walking alongside Chen, explains that these are the people dissatisfied with the daily rate of 1 copper coin. They want safety and stability handed to them on a silver platter, without paying the price. Chen reaches the bottom of the stairs, and the boy continues shouting, calling out, "Chen Bai, it's me, Li Chen." Chen, ever calm with his hand still in his pocket, responds with a measured tone, acknowledging that he knows Li Chen. As he approaches, Chen gestures and asks why they're causing trouble, pointing out that the rules aren't strict. Earning a copper coin is as simple as killing a zombie. And for those who can't manage that, there are jobs in the settlement where they can earn money. The boy, clearly hopeful, points to the posters in response, arguing that it's not about the money. He passionately declares that in times like these, everyone should help each other, and now that Chen has the resources, he should be lending a hand to everyone. As the self-proclaimed president of the student council, he advises Chen to cancel these rules for the greater good, assuring him that everyone would appreciate it. Chen, lowering his head, lets out a light chuckle, clearly amused by the boy's naivety. He then replies with a touch of sarcasm, noting that he doesn't want to waste time on someone like Li Chen. Turning to the crowd, he firmly states the rules. If they don't accept them, they should leave now. And just to drive the point home, he adds that anyone who doesn't clear out within 3 minutes will be shot without mercy. Chen orders Luli to start counting down, and she promptly replies with a firm yes before beginning the 3-minute countdown. Meanwhile, Li Chen, clearly unfazed, laughs and declares that he doesn't need 3 or even 5 minutes. He's not leaving at all. He claims he's trying to save money for everyone, hoping that his efforts will earn their support and gratitude. One of the guards, clearly irritated by Li Chen's grandstanding, snaps back saying that a copper coin isn't a burden for anyone here. He points out that those who refuse to pay are either useless or just plain greedy, and the camp has no interest in protecting such people. Another guard, fed up with the spectacle, gives Li Chen a shove with his spear, taunting him by calling him trash for not even being able to kill a single zombie a day. The guard mockingly suggests that if Li Chen can't earn a copper coin, he could come work as his guard dog, promising to pay him 2 copper coins. A generous offer by guard dog standards. The situation escalates as another guard shouts for Li Chen to get out, reminding him that the camp was built by those willing to work and contribute, and that Li Chen has no connection to it. Irritated, Li Chen starts to sweat, the veins on his forehead bulging with anger. He glares at the guards and shouts, "You all of you." He then declares that he'll leave if he has to, but not without a final warning. He vows that Chen Bai will regret kicking him out of this cursed place. As Li Chen turns to leave, Chen steps through the barrier of guards and calmly tells him to wait. Li Chen, sensing a change, turns around laughing and asks if Chen is having second thoughts. But before he can finish his thought, Chen activates his ability, transforming his right hand into a massive claw. With swift, brutal precision, Chen tears through Li Chen's body, impaling him with the claw. The boy crumples to the ground, blood pouring out as Chen stands over him, coldly declaring that when someone harbors resentment against him and then boasts about it, they are indeed bound to regret it. Meanwhile, Luli announces that there's only 1 minute left on the countdown. The tension in the air is palpable, and one of the protesters, now drenched in sweat and trembling, drops to his knees, crying out. He pleads, saying that he's ready to abide by the rules of the settlement and is willing to accept the consequences for the trouble he caused. Desperation laces his voice as he begs for a second chance. Chen promptly withdraws his claw, leaving the man on the ground to catch his breath, now that he's had a very close encounter with a monstrous manicure. Chen, with a hint of amusement, acknowledges the man's quick thinking and tells him that with 5 copper coins, everything will be back to normal within a month. The man, clearly eager to avoid any more hands-on demonstrations, agrees enthusiastically, thanking Chen as if his life depends on it. Which, well, it kind of does. Seeing the first guy successfully negotiate his way out, the others quickly follow suit, dropping to their knees, bowing and offering up their own copper coins. It's a regular kneel and deal session, with everyone suddenly eager to be model citizens. Satisfied with their change of heart, Chen turns to Luli, handing off the rest of the work. He tells her it's in her hands now, and Luli, ever the cool and collected one, nods with confidence, assuring him that there's nothing to worry about. Chen can't help but think that if managing a post-apocalyptic settlement were this easy, he might just be tempted to start a franchise. As Chen walks away, his system alerts him to a new message from Meng Meng. Opening it, he reads that she's finding it tough to improve her skills in reality. Despite her high spiritual energy, she's got no offensive abilities, like having a state-of-the-art gaming console, but no games to play on it. Chen, taking on the role of mentor, advises her to be patient and take it slow. He promises to help her find some skill books that can enhance spiritual energy attacks. I hope that you liked today's video, and if you did, hit that like button, as today's like goal is 1,500 likes. Comment part 3 down below for the next part. Also, consider subscribing with the notification bell on to get notified as soon as a new video drops onto the channel. You can also join the channel to support me financially and watch videos before public release. I'll meet you in the next video. Until then, thanks for watching.